The Buffalo Bills got to work early today as the team officially announced the signing of running back James Cook to a 4-year, $48 million contract. That is $12 million per year, and $30 million of that is guaranteed. And while Cook did not speak yesterday with the media, he did so today and discussed why exactly he started training camp as a full participant before beginning his hold-in after 8 practices.
Just to show my loyalty to my team and my teammates, I know they always got my back, so I got their back too. So just showing them that I'm willing to not be a problem and a distraction, just go out there, just practice and play and see what happens. That was my mindset.
GM Brandon Beane also spoke today, and you can hear him and Cook over on the Odyssey app or on our website, WGR550.com. Also on our website, Sal Capaccio has more on today's practice, including left tackle Dion Dawkins not being present after leaving yesterday early. And do stay tuned. We'll hear from Sal later today at 5. But before he comes on, Bills head coach Sean McDermott, he is going to join the show at 4 p.m., so do stay tuned for that. And next up for the Bills, it is going to be a joint practice against the Bears in Chicago on Friday. The game is on Sunday. And for the Bears, their head coach Ben Johnson confirmed today starters, including quarterback Caleb Williams, will play. No word yet, though, on what we expect from the Bills. And then Dolphins edge Chop Robinson left practice today with an undisclosed injury, but later confirmed on social media that it is nothing major. And then in baseball, Bison's currently in action. They trail Lehigh Valley 5-4 in the 5th. That game is on our sister station, the Bet 1520. Well, coming up just after 7 o'clock, the Yankees host the Twins. The Cubs are north of the border to take on Toronto, and the Mets have the Atlanta Braves in town. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Schopp and the Bulldog.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
Monday, Tuesday, hump day is halfway. It's Mike Schopp.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And the Bulldog.
Hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on. I know you can hear me.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
On WGR
Hump day.
Sports Radio 550.
Welcome. Thank you, listeners, and also viewers. YouTube, Twitch, those of you watching may be, well, it's so fast. I could give this a few more seconds or minutes, but may be wondering, did you two guys play together in a scramble today? Because you're wearing the same shirt.
You're wearing, we are, yeah, mine's a little darker blue, but yeah, they're very close. They're blue,
if we were told
blue golf shirts
to wear a dark blue polo to our team event today,
yeah,
this is the shirt I pick. That's the shirt you pick.
I've started wearing
close enough.
I've started wearing these shirts the day before I know I'm going to play. Because what I do when I'm playing golf at 7 o'clock in the morning is I just put on what I had on yesterday to go golf because I'm going to get sweaty and whatever. So there were a few days there where I'd be wearing a T-shirt on a Wednesday knowing I was going to play golf Thursday and then pull a golf shirt out to go play golf and still have. So I'm minimizing the amount of dirty laundry I have is what I'm doing.
Oh, wow.
So I'm wearing the golf shirts into work.
No wonder that guy yesterday was annoyed with you.
Yeah, no kidding.
You're wearing the previous day's clothes.
I definitely was. There's no debating that.
That's out in the public sphere now. Well, James Cook, it's over now.
Well, I certainly hope that our audience can appreciate the consistency with which I at least, I don't want to speak for you on this, have always maintained that if there's one position in pro football you need to pay top of the market rates for, it's running back.
Part-time running back.
So, yeah, right. So, I mean, just kudos. No, I'm not really trying to gaslight you.
Did you think about... Did anyone, I mean, this is to flatter us, but did anyone think about like which one of us would be more fired up? Based on our platforms over the last 6 months or 3 years, who was wronged? Who was wronged more or worse by this deal? Like, I got to say, I mean, the numbers blew my mind. It reminded me of Cody Hodgson. Remember Cody Hodgson?
Yes, right.
Getting that deal from the Sabres. Like, what was the negotiation actually? and here, what would he ever say no to anything? How could you ever have gotten that contract and said no to any? Like, what happened? And with Cook, I mean, there was so much discussion. If it wasn't deserved or warranted, I don't know. I guess we fell for something, but there was so much discussion about it, and the numbers come out like. What did he ever say no to? Did they ever just what actually led to that contract? Like the Bills, it's such a big contract. Like it's so much. I feel like he just killed it.
Yeah, I think
in this. And every day we talked about how he had no leverage.
I know. I feel like he won is what I feel like, and with such a curious path to it too. With the the way he handled everything, like we talked about yesterday. Debating whether or not it had risen to the level of a saga yet or whatever, but showing up, doing the mandatory stuff, being on time for camp, participating, and then stopping a little bit through and then returning yesterday. I mean, yesterday's return now makes a lot more sense. I mean, the contract got announced in the evening last night. I would imagine they were pretty close to getting it done when he practiced, but I don't know that. But I would guess that was a part of it anyway, but yeah, I mean, I think you have to really just love everything the Bills do to look at this objectively and say it's another great job by Brandon Beane, which, he gets a lot of credit for Christian Benford and Rousseau and Bernard and like all the dudes, Shakir even. I heard a national football reporter, I don't remember whom, on with Chris and Steve last week one day, intimating they can't believe that they got Shakir at the number that they got him at, considering what he means to this offense.
Unbelievable.
Right? This, I don't think, I mean, I'm probably biased by my stance on running backs, but I don't think you can say that about this deal.
Is Palmer also incredible? Is that price also incredible?
I don't know.
Like, we've talked about him a lot. Like, okay, well, Joshua Palmer, wow, $10, $11, $12 million, whatever it is. And you're like, that's actually not that much. Maybe that's what Beane would say. When you have all the money, like every NFL team and their GM through their owner does, then that's what at least slows me down a little bit. I'll tell you what slows me down more on like this deal being insane is like, because how many times over the years have you might have been like-minded and thought, that's just insane for this player, and when does it ever hurt? It's so opposite of our lives. When do the Bills or any NFL team or any sports team ever suffer? The Saints, all the Saints ever do is trade up and spend through the nose on their guys. They're never good. They don't get, relegated. The Saints, they still exist. Maybe this is the year where they finally pay for it. A few of these Beane contracts, I have to admit, the first thing that goes through my mind is he just like sort of pushing his chips all in? This is it for him? Like, is it just like, whatever, I mean, no, right? No.
I don't. He certainly doesn't talk like that.
No, I know. No one does. No one does, though.
And the roster really doesn't reflect that. Like, keeping your own guys is different than going out and signing the highest price, number ones at every position that you can find in free agency. That would be going for it. Trading number one picks to get, 28-year-old receivers on your team that make $30 million a year would be like all in.
Well, that's so extreme. Like, that doesn't even really happen. But he has spent so much money on veterans. What is Palmer? What is Cook? What is Bosa? I mean, Von Miller, so many of these guys. And, you have to, I think, on some level, defend it or support it, because what are you supposed to do when you're this good?
You got to keep you got to keep the train running on time. Is what you got to do. Like your big thing for weeks here on this was get something done so that it doesn't, harm the season, right? The stakes are very high. I don't want to mischaracterize what you were saying, but that's how it sounded to me. Like, just maintain the peace, right? Like, we don't want a disgruntled number one running back, even if he doesn't play more than 50% of the snaps. Like, he's important, and everyone on the team is watching, and let's just make sure that, it's all systems go, and that there is no potential distraction, disturbance, turbulence, whatever word you want to throw on it. And, that happened with this contract. It was the last thing. And, it's easy for me to say from the outside, don't worry about it, because you have the power and the player doesn't. They want it. I think the peace meant enough to them to get this done. Because I find it hard to believe that it feels like they were negotiating off of $15 million. Which I would have never even done.
I never even would have thought about it.
Right? Because to get to the number they ended up at, I'm just stunned that the compromise is this big.
Did he come down, or did they go up? Or was it all a big joke? Like the whole time?
Yeah, I don't know.
He did play. He did show up for minicamp. He did show up for training camp. He took a few days off. Hard knocks. I don't know. That's another thing I wouldn't want to assume. But who actually moved to get James Cook to 4 for 48? I don't. SpotTrack doesn't have it.
No.
When can the Bills get out? I mean, that needs to be in 2 years. There needs to be here, I think, whatever. Like, what if I'm wrong? What's going to happen? Right. Josh Allen will be 31. Are they going to lose? Needs. What pressure does Bean ever have in any of these negotiations? He's got Allen. What could go wrong? Spend the money.
Yeah.
Just say yes.
Yeah, I neither have seen I read there's a long, itemized breakdown that Pro Football Talk put out, but it's not. It does not contain a simple way for me to convert that to what you just suggested. Like, when's the most painless out? How early is a painless out?
It should be after 26
in the contract.
Well,
so I don't know that yet. Somebody
27.
who can interpret all of the breakdown can put that together and maybe get something. So I'm optimistic maybe this afternoon we'll see something, because those numbers are out there, at least from one outlet I saw, but I can't put it together in a way that makes sense to even me right now.
It should be after 27 at the latest.
Sure.
Because this year is still going to be the contract he's on, right? Like, the contract he got is for 26 to 29. The 4-year extension doesn't tear up this, as far as I would assume this, doesn't tear up this year. So this year he makes his 5.5 or 5.7, whatever you want to use, the cap hit or the money. And then next year it almost, more than doubles. And all the guaranteed money, everything like that. But no matter who he is, if he's Derrick Henry, at 28, we're having a conversation about whether he's worth keeping.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And this thing takes him to age 30. If
it's all real.
He doesn't, right. If they don't get out of it.
Right.
There's got to be a way to get out of it by 2 years from now, plus 25. So after 27, or even after 28, but even that is generous to Cook.
Yeah, I think. I don't always like landing there when someone, any team, but it's certainly the teams that we care the most about. When one of the first questions you have about a new contract is, how soon can I get out of it? Right? You think Bill sign a free agent. How soon can I get out of it? Right? I think that was maybe Curtis Samuel last year when they signed him. Like, okay, well, how long before I can pull the chute and not have it hurt? Right? It's such a backwards way of looking at it, I think. Right? But in reality, I'm thinking about that. 4 for 4. I hear 4 for 48, and my first thought is that really like 3 for 30? And the last year is just like some trumped up number just to get the average up to something that the agent can say, "Look, I did it." Whatever. But I don't know that yet. That's probably on the extreme side of things. That would be maybe way more favorable to the Bills than I could be hoping for. But still, there's probably something at the end of it that isn't realistic, like a salary that we're going to all look at and go, okay, well, they're not going to do that, right? They'll be able to walk away after that. So what is it really? And again, until we really see that, I don't want to overreact to 12 for 48, but the $30 million kind of blew my mind, guaranteed. And that's different now too. Like the way that's phrased in this world, that is not all upfront signing bonus. Some of it is year-to-year roster bonus, and a certain date in the calendar year triggers this becoming salary that's guaranteed for the year and that kind of thing. Guarantees against injury. So it's not all $30 million goes on the cap immediately and is amortized over those 4 years. I think it's staggered a little bit more than that now. So that's different from, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago. So, I was thinking not to be cute about the whole thing, and I did, it's funny you ask, did anyone consider which of us would be more hot about this?
Did you? Yeah.
I mostly because all along, and I don't know, this maybe is come off as lazier than I would like, but all along I said, look, I don't want to pay him. My optimal situation here is to let him play the year out and replace him next year. That was what I was in favor of, but I said I'm not going to freak out if they do it, because he does matter. Like, he's good. I think they're better today with him, confidently in the fold here. At least for this year. I don't know about moving forward. That's always the trick with signing guys to lucrative extensions. So I'm not mad. I sort of feel like it's fine. Like in our show's parlance, I feel like it's fine. It's not what I really wanted, but I'm not fighting mad. I'm not inclined to raise a real stink about it.
You're taking fine from me? On James Cook?
I feel like fine. I think fine is the show's at this point.
Okay.
Well,
that's up to me, I think.
I feel badly now you're being so possessive. But fine.
I'll tell you the one word I thought. I probably said it out loud when I saw the news this morning. Jesus. You want fine? I'll take Jesus.
Okay.
I mean, good luck. I just refuse to go back on every word of the running back value thing. 47% of the snaps, 16 touchdowns from 2. I guess he has a great nickname. They all love him. Everybody loves Jimbo. Keep the peace. I know yesterday I said, and I meant it, and I'm not being, duplicitous about this. If they don't sign him and get him to a place where he's not disgruntled for this year, that's negligent. I just never thought the numbers needed to be like this. And the only thing that keeps me from wanting to rail on it is that the numbers are often like this in football, and teams just get away with it. And that's to say that they know that going in. Bean knows that going in. He doesn't really have to suffer consequences for these kind of contracts because there's so many players, there's so much money, there's always a new Amazon, Netflix, something else deal coming along. Like there's always enough. So he'll never have to suffer for this deal, and that's what I would say if I was a fan that didn't care about being right. It's already started online. Like, oh my God, what are you worried about? Here we go. Every time it's the same thing. James Cook. Yesterday, it's like, how can you pay this guy? The next day, they did. How can you criticize it? It's just 20 years of this. It's always the same thing.
Right.
Like, I don't know what's coming. But there's hardly ever any consequences. So what do you get here? You get the player on the field. And, everybody's happy. The players are happy because Cook killed it in this, right? He sat out for 5 days. What did he actually miss? Whatever it was, like a week, whatever it was. He skipped a game, skipped a few practices. Good for him. He wins.
He skipped a game he probably shouldn't have played in anyways.
That's right. He had seemingly no leverage in it. You're a running back. You don't even play half the plays. Biggest game in this franchise's recent history last year. Final drive. You're on the sideline. Now we're going to pay you $48 million? What sense? How does that make sense? But, hey, we've got it. Everybody looks good. Bean looks good. You can't criticize him because he's trying to win. And, Cook's happy. Everybody's happy. Allen's happy because Jimbo everybody's happy. Everybody wins. To me, it's just crazy that it ended up with a guy who had no move. He couldn't sit out. What was he going to do? And it's so rich in the NFL that this is what the result is. I guess I feel like I was a little bit naive to think the whole time I don't really mean this. Should we have all thought the whole time he was going to sort of kill it in a contract? You were saying the whole time you didn't think he would get one.
I never thought. I didn't think he'd get one, and I certainly didn't think he'd kill it. I did not envision the Bills going to, like, when the Kyron Williams contract was announced last week. I thought if they get something done, it won't be more than that. It'll be under that. And it's $7 million more guaranteed, and it's $1 million more a year on average, or thereabouts anyway. So I mean, he exceeded it. And yeah, I feel stupid kind of for not seeing that coming. But I just did not think they would go to those lengths to sign him, considering the leverage game that was, in play. At least my interpretation of the leverage game, where the Bills really had almost all of it. All Cook had was the threat of not playing. And I never thought that was realistic, because he'd be sacrificing money, for how many weeks trying to make a point and, eventually becoming a free agent, but you don't have a full season's body of work. And other guys have gone down that road and not ended up at the destination they were hoping to. So I just did not think he would do that. So I did not need for this to get done at all. But, we're here.
Well, it needed to end somehow, and now it has ended. He'll play. That's it. And, good. Over-under rushing touchdowns this year.
8.5.
Oh, I'm scarred by losing at this on Allen over the years.
Is that too low?
Is it too low?
Too low a number? I don't know.
One every other game? Got to stay healthy. That's probably the right number. It probably shouldn't be lower than that, right?
I wouldn't want to put it lower than that, considering what he did last year, but that's just me.
How many yards? He's at 1,009, and then before that, 1,030?
So 1,000? Yeah, put me down for 1,000.
What is the number?
Over under 999. That's fine. I'll go.
You got to factor in.
I'll go over.
Like those lines factor in like 3 missed games. 1,009. The previous year, 1,122. Better year, but just 2 touchdowns. Only last year was 16. Well, I think it has to be good news, a good day. You had one of the biggest headaches going on, and there are not many going on with the Bills, is you took your relief and it's gone. You don't have to have the headache anymore. I don't know. You can look at this, kind of most of this conversation so far has been analyzing this result from going back. What did we think would happen? Other comparable deals, what was said, everything that happened in the past. Going forward, I think the right question is, like, will this be worth it? And this is the problem. What I've seen online, even from media, somehow people in the media think this is sort of like pithy. It's worth it if they win a Super Bowl. Well, I mean, what is that to say? Pay anybody you want if you win a Super Bowl. You have Josh Allen on the team. What are your odds?
Like you've always
Pay
said,
anybody you want.
Yeah, like anything you do is validated if you win.
There's nothing interesting about that.
That's
like,
that. Yeah.
The question needs to be approached from the other direction. How well does this help you? How much does this help you to win a Super Bowl? And that's the thing. Like, if I don't have James Cook, how do my odds change? Ask anybody who deals with odds. They don't change at all. But, it would have tasted bad. And then you have the whole thing like that I was sort of focused on yesterday, which is, discontent and, maybe a distraction, this kind of thing. And players might be asking questions of management with each other and this kind of, and the Bills have avoided all of that because they can print money. And I just feel like when this happens, and this has happened many times, what I end up gravitating to is like, what were these negotiations like? What was Cook asking for that the Bills wouldn't give him? Maybe it was this and this last little gambit by him to sit out got them to say yes. Or maybe it was more. Can you imagine asking for more than this? Still don't know what the framework is. Like the outs, the guarantees are reported $30 million. That's amazing for him. Was he going to, one of my things too, would he have had a season where he could go to free agency and kill it next year, and now we won't know. We won't have to worry about it. But would he have done better than this next year if he'd had like close to the same season? I don't know.
I mean, maybe only because the cap will go up again, and all of a sudden the going rate for this player might rise by 8% by next spring when guys hit free agency, and like that's a way that he could have gotten more, or even this exact contract on the open market. But yeah, I don't know. Where if he really started at $15 million, he didn't give up much. In my mind at all.
7 months ago.
Yeah.
Wow, what a process. Trust the process, I guess. Speaking of that line, Sean McDermott joins us today at 4, Sal Capaccio at 5. We'll look for your calls next, 803-0550. Reactions to James Cook's deal. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. This is WGR.
Folks, Bulldog here for Excelsior.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go! All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline. coaster of life. Oh, you seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time. To all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. Roller coaster. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole of life. And now it's about to leave. Oh, roller coaster. Oh, roller coaster.
Need to practice if we're going to be able to get back to the table. And so I think there was good faith on both parts, from him and his agent to our side. And once we got him back on the practice field, we really worked hard yesterday. Kevin Meegank and, on our side, and Zach Hiller, James's agent, on his side. And I think it was roughly 11 o'clock or so last night where we were able to say both sides are good with this and we'll get it signed in the morning.
Brandon Beane today. That's interesting, right? Is that what's called an understanding, or is that a mandate?
You get on the field and then we'll negotiate? Yeah.
We had an understanding that you have to be on the field for us to negotiate. Who? I feel like that's Beane telling Cook, this is how it is. And, Cook did come back. McDermott yesterday talked about a change in the situation before practice, and, it sounds like maybe he knew what was coming. Sean will be on with us in half an hour. Cook is signed. All right, what's next? Right? What would President Bartlett say, Bulldog? You get something done, but you can't sit still. There's no time for that. There's no time to rest on your laurels. So what's next?
Alex Tuck's extension. Sorry, no, you're thinking about the football team. Connor McGovern, I think.
Connor McGovern.
Next. I saw Sneaky Joe tweeted this morning, how hilarious would it be if Connor McGovern started a hold-in today?
Yes.
He's going into the last year of his contract.
Why wouldn't he?
Right.
Why shouldn't anybody do it? Look how easy it is.
So I think that'll be interesting to watch. When the Bills drafted, we had a call earlier this week talking about how much they were excited about Cedric Van Pran Granger when they drafted him, and I was too. And the contracts that were in place were a part of that. I've got McGovern for another couple of years. They're drafting maybe his eventual replacement from a big school in a big league, SEC, Georgia. I got my center in waiting, and this year has been already a lost summer for him. So I'll be curious to see how they like their depth on the O-line. Torrance will be due for a contract extension after year 3. He's a second-round pick. So like Cook and all these other guys that got re-signed this summer, the time to get that going with him will be after this coming season, and I think that'll be a big number.
Do I have to care about it? He's a guard. Do I have to be like, all just sort of every day. Are we going to do that dance?
I care more about the
6
guards
months?
than I do the running backs at this point, honestly.
That's not crazy.
So, but that I think that's what's next. McGovern is going into a walk year. Torrance is due for an extension. I haven't looked at the whole list of who else is up. There's probably Milano's contract is up after the season is over, but there's been no talk about doing anything with that. Although I guess maybe as he continues to look like his old self in camp, maybe they could figure out something with that too. I don't know.
What? Trey White. Let's extend him while we're here. You tell that McGovern, score 16 touchdowns, then we'll have a conversation.
Okay.
Get a few fumble-rooskies involved.
Yeah.
I'd settle for one.
He did have something to do with some of them, I would assume.
Sure. No, Cook.
Probably all of them.
Cook should give all those linemen a healthy, gift. Here's Mike with us. Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. How are you? Happy no holdout from James Cook Day again. Now, this is great. My argument with what you guys are saying on the other side is now it's past us. This is not my $48 million or $30 million guarantee. I mean, from a fan's perspective, I'm just happy that, we don't have to talk about this anymore and the team could just move past it. I know there's been a lot of talk that the needle doesn't move with James Cook out the lineup. I mean, that's debatable. I mean, it's 18 touchdowns you take away from us. I'm sure 18 touchdowns does move the needle some. It has to. I'm just happy that it's past us. I really don't care what the guy signed for. I really don't.
Well, I respect that, and I respect the notion of it being past them, and there's no drama, and that is not nothing. I can even hear myself saying that, and I sound like I'm almost poking holes in it, and I don't really mean to be. Like it's a respectable thing to have everything, smooth sailing, all systems go. That can matter for a team that's in a window that the Bills are in. Like the urgency has been extremely high for them to win a championship the last few years here, and they did not need anything that could potentially be looked at as a problem within all of that. But what I think you can worry about, and you can decide whether you want to worry about it now or not, is what we were just talking about. How much money is there to sign McGovern and Torrance next offseason? If they find that they need a number one receiver after everything maybe doesn't work as well as it did last year, hypothetically, I'm not rooting for that, I'm just saying, the amount of flexibility you have and the amount of money you have is not actually endless. Like there are things that you can't do sometimes. So let's just hope that doesn't become any problem. The cap does always go up, and hopefully they can just keep doing this and not have anything real sticky become a problem. But it's a big number for a position that I think is pretty replaceable.
Yeah, and Bulldog, those are all good points. I do think that it maybe could hinder us, but I still got to let the offseason play out. I mean, there's moves that Buffalo can make before the start of the season to open up cap. They might have already done that with James Cook, his cap number this year. So there's still chips to fall, and Curtis Samuel could get traded. I mean, there's still avenues they can go to protect themselves on future contracts down the road, and being in my experience, he's been pretty good at managing that. So I just kind of, before I jump all over him on a big number, I just got to see things play out a little bit more,
Sure. Thanks, Mike. I mean, what percentage of fans, is it 100 or almost, today is hearing that this, with any amount of sophisticated knowledge about the salary cap or whatever, just like what you could know nothing or you could know everything. You're a Bills fan, what do you care about? Them winning. And it's still the case that you can't be as close to that. You can't be much closer to that than they are. So you've got a guy here who's a semi-star, and you might have been worried that he wasn't going to play or be a distraction or any of those things. And now that goes away. The clouds have parted. The sky's clear. That's all gone. And you feel good. And if I told you that they won a championship in the next year or two under this deal with James Cook, even scores in the Super Bowl if you need it, and then they're terrible for a decade, you'll take it. Like
yeah, of course.
You didn't care about the future when it was Von Miller. You didn't care about the future when it was 5 other guys, and you don't care about it today, and that's fine. Somebody's allowed to. I don't think it's wrong to care about that stuff. I just think giving the GM the benefit of the doubt to most of the extent on this, like he doesn't. What are the consequences? When are there ever consequences to these contracts? Knox was egregious. Oh, well, let's just enjoy that he's on the team. We need him on the field. Von Miller, well, someday it'll be bad. When is that day that anything is actually bad? Bean will tell you about, like he goes into the offseason last couple of years, he'll tell you about what he can't do because of other things that have been done already. Like it's different. You can't just every year, what does he say? You can't every year just go shop in any aisle and get whatever you want because, decisions have been made. But they're still in the proverbial window. And all that concern, to whatever extent there is any, about the future, just, save it, right? Just save it.
Yeah, there's nothing about this deal that, to me, there's no negative for 2025. And so, right? I mean, he's on the team. Your team is already set. You're not going shopping you don't have to pay Connor McGovern right now. You don't have to pay Osiris Torrance right now. And you're not going shopping for an upgrade at wide receiver right now. You're about to play the 2025 season, and now James Cook is in line and everything's set. And so, down the road, maybe that becomes, like I just laid out to the caller, like just hypotheticals becomes an issue. But for right now, it's relatively harmless. The numbers are larger than I anticipated by quite a bit. I didn't say quite a bit. They're just larger than I thought it'd be under the Kyron Williams deal. So that's not quite a bit. It's larger. But there's that said, what does it do to the Bills in 2025? Negatively, nothing. Really, unless I'm missing something. Again, moving forward, there could be a problem retaining someone else or going shopping for something else. But for 2025, it's all systems go.
Well, that's exactly what I just said. I mean, I think that's where everybody's head is. It's about this year. And if the GM is likewise, you'd want that. You'd want that to be true. There should be, like there is in real life, there should be a counterbalance, There should be why buying that jet ski maybe isn't the best idea for this family. But, things change and your investments go up. You're the Bills. It all just keeps coming in the green, in the black. I think, not to make it sound like it's too easy, you just keep spending. So yeah, I think, like the caller, like you saying, like I'm saying, it doesn't feel really on the mark to frame this in terms of the future, because the point is the present. I mean, this is a running back anyway. This is a guy who's been in the league 3 years that the shelf life is pretty short, right? That would be the term.
Yeah.
So
although there's not a lot of miles.
There's also not a lot of size in the guy.
Right.
But yeah. I still want to know like what is the breakdown here? Spot Track's going to show up. They're going to knock on the door here eventually
and show us where the outs are and like what is it like. Someone eventually usually gets around with all these, whether it's the Bills or not. Someone usually gets around to ostensibly this is actually a blank year contract worth blank money.
Right.
Don't worry about the 4 for $48. Really, this is what it is. And so we'll get that. And that may, I don't know, it'll make us feel better. I don't know. I don't even know if the fan base, the person you're describing and that I just sort of re-described, isn't going to care about that either, really. It's just he's on the team. That's it.
That's it. Go Bills. That's it. Sean McDermott at 4. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here with your calls maybe coming up. We'll see. That's up to you, right? 803-0550 is the number. This is WGR. Welcome back. We're expecting to have Bills coach Sean McDermott on with us coming up in 10 to 15 minutes. Who's back on your Twitter feed today? Oh, you got to love it. Odell Beckham Jr.
Mm-hmm.
It's said that he wants to play. Quote, or hashtag wants to play.
Well, good for him.
OBJ wants to play. Let him play. He's exciting and fun. No? Free agent idea of the day, Odell Beckham.
No thanks.
We would, but we just signed James.
Right, we don't have any money left.
We don't have any money. We can't afford it.
We're broke. Yeah.
Can't afford it. The Cook money is for the future.
I feel like he's cooked. What are we talking about? It's like 3 years ago, right? Or even longer when Von Miller first got here, right? That's when that all really started.
The Rams Super Bowl.
Right.
I mean, he was great leading up to and into that game, and he tore his ACL in that game.
Right.
And ever since then, it's been, social media.
Right.
He stopped by Baltimore, right?
Yeah. But the campaign for him to be here began when Von Miller got to the Bills, is what I'm saying. Like, he was like, I'll recruit him, that kind of thing.
He was also on that team.
And so that idea that's where that started, really, I think, for Bills fans. And I checked out of that a while ago.
Well, there will not be a clamor, you're saying, you think, for Odell Beckham?
If there is, I'm going to question the sanity of those clamoring.
Can't you always question the sanity of those clamoring? Clamoring seems like something you would only do if you were insane. Maybe not. That might be unfair.
No.
The clamor is the problem.
I think. Well, it depends. I mean, the one doing the clamoring thinks, of course, that their clamoring is righteous. So I was going to say, there has to be righteous clamoring, but that would only be the clamoring that I would agree with. Whereas in this case, if they were clamoring about Odell Beckham Jr., I would think, stop clamoring. What's all the clamoring about? I'm going to stop saying. I'm never going to stop saying clamoring.
So much clamoring.
All the clamoring.
Wow, what a moment for that word.
When Sean McDermott is listening to this right now.
He's definitely
come
not
out with us and just going, why?
He's only listening if he's on hold because he's 10 minutes early. Otherwise, he's definitely not. Right. Joe is with us. Hi, Joe.
How you doing?
Good, thanks, Joe.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, you're on the air.
So it's just weird because, thank you. I just think it's weird because we're looking at a little contract, and little in the sense of it's not these monster contracts that millions and millions and tens of millions, but for Cook's $12 million, whatever, over 4 years, $48 million, the impact that it's going to have year 2, 3. But what would the league ever go to like a percentage base? Like we have, the cap is the same for everybody. Let's just say quarterbacks cannot exceed 25%, and then your pass rushers 5%, and then your top linemen. I mean, would it ever go to that where it could be a lot more manageable and more equal for all the teams? Because, I mean, obviously Josh warrants the most money, but, I mean, you take that huge contract and whatever the years is, and then whatever is left is what everyone is, basically fighting for, right? So would the league ever try to cap out positions, or is that even possible?
I'm not sure if I'd want them to. Who does this? It would benefit running backs, right? Among other positions. That's who this would benefit?
No. I'm just thinking for everybody, not
only running backs, but other positions.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, just, because we're like, oh my God, we're like $48 million. And it's like, not that you're saying that the world's going to end, but you talk to people, it's like, oh my God, that's a lot of money. But I just think, granted, it's the most important position, the quarterback, but you still need 11 on the offense and 11 on the defense. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just think about, when is enough for some of these players to make and not have to worry about, oh, my God, he's $500,000 more than what he should have been. I don't know. I just look from a practical standpoint. I know anything could happen. God forbid someone could, break a leg or whatever, your career's done. But I just think it would help out the teams if we could set up, not we, but if they would set a range, just like, you and your career, right? Or my career, the top gets the most, but there's always a range, and I don't know, just trying to make the teams.
Yeah, no, and you're trying to make it more equitable for everyone and not have it be as heavily reliant on the quarterback eating up so much of the salary cap. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say you'd never get there, but I just don't. There's just so much money. And, yeah, I mean, you end up positions are going to be prioritized and their value is going to be analyzed and studied. And you kind of, I think, want your team, depending on how much you respect any of that process, to sort of fall in line with that. And that's part and parcel of the entire conversation about running backs that's been going on in this room for 15 years or more.
I can't understand why I would want that unless I were somebody or a running back or a punter or somebody that would benefit. I'm sure there's probably like a political term for whatever kind of economic system that would be, but I'm not knowledgeable in that area, but there would be one, I suppose. I don't know. Why is it good? Why is it good for the overall? What's the problem with the system? The market takes care of itself. The Bills had every right to not pay James Cook. They chose to do it. We thought for a while that they wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. I don't really see where the flaw in the system is. Yes, the quarterbacks make by far the most money, shouldn't they? If anybody else on the Bills, including James Cook, goes away, nobody cares about their Super Bowl chances any differently than they had cared before. I mean, that's cold, but it's true. Not one player on this team going away would mean anything to their odds other than Allen. So maybe he should make more. Looking at it from another angle. Mm-hmm. Sean McDermott coming up. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. Thanks for the call, Joe. This is WGR.
The Buffalo Bills completed a busy offseason this morning as they officially announced the signing of running back James Cook to a 4-year, $48 million deal. That is $12 million per year, and $30 million of it is guaranteed. We will get more on this. Sal Capaccio joining the show at 5 p.m. And also, stay tuned, is coming up next. Bills head coach Sean McDermott will join the show. Over on our website, WGR550.com, Sal does have more on today's practice, and that does include left tackle Dion Dawkins not being present. He left yesterday, but no signs that this is a disaster for the Bills. And then next up for Buffalo, it is a joint practice against the Bears in Chicago Friday ahead of the game on Sunday. Bears head coach Ben Johnson did confirm today starters, including quarterback Caleb Williams, will play on Sunday. No word yet, though, on what we should expect from the Bills. And then in baseball, the Bisons just fell to Lehigh Valley 9-4, and then coming up just after 7 o'clock, 3 games in the majors. Yankees host the Twins. The Cubs are north of the border versus Toronto, and then the Mets, they have the Braves in town. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
After all these years, I just realized something new that I like about Bulldog. How about that? We have something new in common that I never knew. 22 years almost. I never knew that you felt that way about that person. But I'm glad about it. Not Bills or football related. Relax.
No, it's just
not somebody who works here. Not somebody in radio.
We're just watching TV.
Just a random thing.
Just watching TV.
With us now on the West Her Hotline, it's our pleasure to introduce Bills head coach Sean McDermott. Joining us now, Sean, Mike, and Chris. How's your health? How's the family? How was your off season? A lot of questions.
We're doing well. I appreciate you asking. We're doing well. Hope you guys are. We've had a great summer. Now it's time to get buckled down and play some football and coach some football.
Any traveling to speak of? What was the highlight of your offseason that wasn't football related?
You know what? A lot of kids' activities. That's the stage we're in. A lot of kids' sports, being around, the Buffalo community and really some trips, but most of the trips were sports-related as well. So busy times in the McDermott household, and summer is ending up. I know the kids aren't happy about that, having to go back to school, but it's somewhat of a welcomed addition here with how busy our summer was.
We can certainly relate. I'm happy to tell you anything you need to know about Southern Ontario within 200 kilometers from La Crosse.
I can also go along on that subject. It's a few years dated now, but we've spent a lot of time doing the same. So we feel you, man.
This is like a little bit of a break for them, but not for you, right? Like my kids are done with sports now for like 2-3 weeks before school, but this is now like you're probably in the office all the time.
Yeah, that's how it goes, right? So dad gets like to run around to sports and, like you said, see different areas of our greater Western New York area and then the country, and then they drop me off back home, and it's like, hey, take a couple days off and then head to camp. So somewhere in there, I don't know if fair is the word, but it certainly is. It's fun. You guys know it, but at times it does get a little tiring. So it's somewhat as good to have some structure back in my life and be back at the job here.
Yeah, get back to work so you can rest, right? Is that the idea? Not to say that's what you're doing here on this job, but we've all been there. I need a vacation from the vacation kind of deal.
I love coming back to work.
Right.
Actually.
So, Sean, I know Brandon Bean already addressed this morning, but from your perspective, how much of an organizational exhale is there that the James Cook thing is behind you?
No, it's big. It's important, right? James is a good player for us. You never want those things to happen, in particular during training camp. But finally, good to have it over and done with, and we can move forward. And so, very happy to have that done at this point.
Would you be willing to let us in on like these last few days from Saturday when he was dressed for the game but didn't play? Through yesterday in the morning, you talked about a change in the situation. Was there anything you knew that you couldn't divulge?
Not necessarily being totally transparent. It was just more of, communicating and ongoing communications for me directly with James. Brandon's the one that deals with the agent and James's representative. So for me, it was just staying in touch and in communication with James and making sure we were doing that and doing it well. And then, had another follow-up conversation with him. I believe it was, I lost track of my days. Today's Wednesday, so it was probably Monday there. And James did a great job yesterday practicing, and then the deal got done last night, early this morning.
Also, I'm wondering, if you don't mind, what is your extent? You kind of said a little bit there, but what is the extent of your involvement in the process? I think of it, maybe most of us do in a traditional sense, where coaching the player, you're talking a lot about your communication with the player. He wasn't distant from you. And then here's the general manager over here working out with his staff, working out the terms of the contract, et cetera. Is that pretty much how it really is? I mean, are you ever in a room where you can sort of, guys, I've looked up Spot Track and here's what I would do? I mean, it's probably not that way, right?
I think, it does blend at times, but, there's times when Brendan will come in and say, hey, what do you think? Every situation is a little bit different. But I think my job in trying to, support the situation and make sure that communication is flowing, as I mentioned, from me to the player and from the player to me. And I just try and be a go-between or intermediary just to help wherever I can help. So sometimes that's a little, sometimes that's a lot. And it just depends on the situation, I would say.
Sean, while we're on news of the day, obviously the James Cook contract extension was the biggest news of the day. And before we get into some more like season outlook things and personnel that are new and that you're counting on, et cetera, I want to ask you about Dion Dawkins. That was maybe the most notable development from yesterday's practice, and we never got any kind of an update today other than he wasn't around. So just curious if you can fill the fans in on what's going on with your left tackle.
Yeah, sure. He's got a back he's dealing with, an aggravated back, so it kind of flared up yesterday. We backed him off from practice, and today it was still kind of angry. So we're hoping that gets calmed down in the next 24 to 48 hours, and that he can, go to Chicago with us and practice against them, and then we'll take it one day at a time from there.
I mean, you have had it really, really good up front, with not only, the quality of your offensive line, but the durability, the consistency. I'm sure that in recent years is not lost on you.
Absolutely not. No, we can never take that for granted. Those five guys up front on the offensive line, that continuity is important, and their communication that ensues from that continuity. And, Dion being a big piece of that. So not having that in practice, we don't want that, but from time to time, you get a chance to look at somebody else. In this case, Vandy and what he's been able to do and grow and, get those valuable reps. That's kind of the opportunity that comes up in situations like this.
Have you made any determination on what sort of plan there will be for Sunday night's game against the Bears, or does the practice against the Bears on Friday, I mean, obviously that comes first, and does maybe playing time for Sunday depend on how Friday goes?
Yes and no. We're in a situation where we want to go and have a good practice, good strong practice, and then with some of the injuries that we do have, want to get through that practice and see where we stand as it relates to those injuries, and then numbers available at each position. So it has not been decided yet, but I think the first step here for us is having a strong practice outing against the Bears on Friday, and then being able to kind of reset the the deck and go from there as it relates to how we come out of that and how healthy we are.
How much of an overall organizational concern do you have right now about the sheer number of injuries that you've had during camp? I mean, it's football. It happens. Lots of teams have lots of guys that miss practices as they go, but you've had a glut. Your starting safeties, presumably, Rapp and Bishop, haven't been out there together. You talked about this already earlier in the week. You've got a lot of your receiving core guys that are really vying for jobs on the team that haven't been available very much during camp. I think of Curtis Samuel, maybe most specifically for that part, missing so much of camp. Where would you? I know you like to say that you're concerned about everything. Like, you're the head coach of this football team, so everything is of some level of concern. But is it hard to sort of fend off getting lost in the number of injuries and sort of woe is me?
Yeah, you don't want to do that. I mean, there's no time for that. You try and focus on the opportunity that is in front of us, and again, looking at some players who have a chance now through added experience, added reps to develop. You do, take a little bit of time to say, hey, let's try and figure out what's going on with the amount of injuries. But I've said before, the biggest challenge with some of that is, building the continuity, the communication, the rep count for certain guys, some of the younger players in particular, and then making sure that we're physically in shape as we move forward. I mean, that's one of the goals of training camp, right? Where, you got to get your team in the right level, at the right level of conditioning for the season, whether it's 10, 11 play, drives and heat and all those types of things. So, we've got, continued work to do there as well. But I feel like we're getting a little healthier. And hopefully we can sustain that through the weekend here.
Sean McDermott with us, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. Every fan knows a lot of investment was made into the defense this year, the draft and free agency. I don't know exactly what the best question is for you, but the one I have is, I'm thinking of maybe it was really fun and exciting for you in the middle of all that to ponder different ways to utilize all your new pieces. Bulldog, like the chef in the Top Chef pantry. Look at everything here. What can I do with this? So you've got Hoyt and Ogunjobi and Bosa and, of course, Hairston when he's healthy. It might have been really fun and exciting to ponder the possibilities.
No, it has been. It really has been. Max being out is a little bit of a setback for him, for us subsequently, but excited to get him back when he's able to come back. And then the two, with Hoyt and Ogunjobi both being suspended, that's something we're going to have to deal with as well. But outside of that, yeah, I mean, they good additions to our team, and there's multiple names. You mentioned a few of them, and then the guys we drafted up front with Landon and TJ and Dion, and excited about those guys and some other players as well. So, you've heard me say before, you win up front, and if you want to be a really strong defense, it starts up front. And so we've got some young players that we're trying to groom, and they need all the reps that they can get.
Where would you say Dwayne Carter, a third-round pick from last year, fits into all of that? He's a guy that, for me, I ask only because I think with all of the additions, both in free agency and in the draft, on the defensive line, and even specifically, Sean, at defensive tackle, Carter is someone that might be easy for fans to forget about. How does he look, and how squarely is he in the plans for you?
Well, I think that's a great question, and you hit it. Sometimes guys get lost in the shuffle or the names that are thrown around from time to time. I really appreciate how he's stayed true to himself. He knows his job, understands his job, executes his job, and I think just overall, he's a young player still, right? Only in the beginning of his second season, and so there's a lot of room for development there. And he stepped in and did a nice job for us early in the season last year when we had some injuries to the starting group, and then he got injured himself, and then lost some time, and some of the development kind of fell off to the wayside. But he's worked hard this off season, and he is another option for us, and is working hard to continue to develop.
Before we move on from talking about additions to the defensive line, I want to highlight one coaching addition in Ryan Nielsen, who comes with a pretty stacked resume of having been a defensive coordinator in the league and playing a lot of man coverage and more of a blitz-heavy type coach than you have been. I am assuming that was intentional. Like, is that something you're looking to sort of expand the breadth of what you guys are capable of doing on a regular basis?
Short answer is no. Just from the standpoint of, I know that, the man coverage stuff. Listen, I think we have enough wisdom in the room. It's not that we don't want wisdom and don't invite it. We do 100%. Ryan's expertise really fall up front with the defensive line, and this is, as you guys know, a hot spot for us in an area we need to get better, and certainly we drafted and addressed it that way. And then adding Ryan was primarily from a defensive line standpoint and angle, and he's been a great addition to our staff overall, yes, but also in particular with the front.
With Bills coach Sean McDermott here on WGR. So what has the Hard Knocks experience been like? Do you find it intrusive? I wondered if maybe it was something you and the Bills had even turned down in the past, or I'm not sure if you had the option to, but I wondered if it was something you would have been against, when you're just starting, when you're a new head coach, whereas now you've been at it for a long time. I mean, everybody seems very comfortable in their skin over there, if you will. How's it going?
Well, I guess, you come out, it's like waking up in the morning and going to the bathroom to brush your teeth, and you're standing right there.
Sound great.
Yeah, nobody wants to see me like that, right? No.
Anybody.
It's been honestly better than that. It has. It's been better than that. It's been, they do a really good job of embedding themselves and kind of just laying low, and but they're around, and I think our team has done a really good job of handling it, honestly, and just trying to, do the best to be ourselves. There are times when, quite honestly, you do want them to kind of go away because you're trying to have a, more of an intimate conversation or a private conversation, or address the team when, after a game where it's not all, good, and you want to be able to have truthful conversations and people not feel a certain type of way about things, right? So it does make for challenges in certain situations, but all in all, to this point, it's been fine. Are you allowed some privacy? Do you have like some number even of times where you can throw a challenge flag, if you will, Sean, on Hard Knocks? Well, I have chosen to not have cameras in my office just so we can have those conversations. So I think that's important for me in building the relationships and the trust and the authenticity, quite honestly, that leads to that trust. So, we were given an option, or had some parameters that we laid out and I chose not to have cameras in my office for that reason. So, that's an important piece for me and for, our team as we try and build the foundation that we're trying to build. And I think that's key.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I saw a clip of Tre'Davious White on an Eric Wood podcast recently, and Eric asked him about the Hard Knocks experience and whether he's watching it or not. And Tre'Davious was like, no, I never watch. Maybe years later I'll go back and look at it, but I don't want to see myself on TV presented that way.
Please. How Trey White?
I know. I'm just telling you what he said. Sean, is your family watching? Are your kids watching? Is the coaching staff having watch parties? Or are you all just ignoring it? Like, how is that going?
Oh man, I love it, Bulldog. I love it. No, you know what? It's interesting. I think you have different amounts of interest from different people on the team, from different maybe families. It's probably what you'd expect. We're all human, right? You get the people who really love and kind of are drawn to the microphones and the cameras, and not just players, but families, and families of staff, families of and so it runs the gamut probably. And then you get guys and people overall and families who are like, you know what? It really doesn't matter. It's just kind of life, business as usual. So. You kind of just, that's how life is, and you understand different people and what gets them excited, I guess, in this case. So, yeah, I think, the cool part about all this at the end, I hope one day, is that, people can really see what we're like, behind the curtain, behind the walls, and I think get a better understanding for how we operate, who we are, and what we value, right? And I think that's my goal. That's my ask is that we're portrayed in an accurate way, so our fans, number one, can really see what goes on and how authentic it is Monday through Saturday, and then they see us obviously on Sunday.
Very good. Sounds to me like that's been successful so far. Just a couple of minutes here left with Sean McDermott. Sean, I thinking about the stadium and the last year of the stadium and how big a talking point and a theme that will be this year. I live on Grand Island. We work in Amherst. Not often do I drive down, but last night I went to Hamburg after work, and I'm at 219, and I'm so used to – I always look. My first game was in 1979. Remember my first year driving a car, 89 in a blizzard, driving to the stadium to get tickets for a road game. And I'm always looking for those lights. You can see the lights. And now when you look to the right from 219 South, you see something else. You see like a stadium that looks like it has been on TV in another city or on Madden. Like that's a real thing down there. I mean, not to get you ahead of yourself. You got this season to play for. There's a lot on the line. But I think out here, the community, if not within the organization, I'm sure probably, yes, within the organization, a lot of people are thinking about the eventual move across the street.
Yeah, no, it is big, and we don't want to look past this season at all, because as big as it is, there's football to be played in a stadium where there's been a ton of memories built over the years, and Buffalo is very unique, maybe other than Green Bay in this way that you drive on 219 as you mentioned. I do the same thing, and you look at the stadium. I'm saying our current stadium, and you're like, man, that's where some big time games have been played over the years, and it's just to me, a little bit of a emotional, I guess, feeling at times because you're like, hey, I get a chance to be the head coach of this football team where there's been so many memories, so much tradition, and then there's this other stadium off in the distance, as you said, that is hard to not see, and you're excited about the future and some of what we've been able to, the success that we've been able to have has hopefully, had a hand in that and in getting that stadium built. And happy for the fans, happy for the future of the organization and this city.
That's definitely correct, I think. I mean, we've talked for so many years, and for a lot before you arrived, for a lot of those years, it was relatively bleak. And then thinking about the future, and the Bills are playing games in Toronto. You got to win first. It seemed Bulldog, right? The team needs some modicum of success to even be able to talk about this. And that happened, which is, of course, much to your credit. So thank you, Sean. Any questions for us? We're about out of time here.
Well, hey, you know what I'd like to do sometime is ride the Roswell ride with you. I think that would be really cool. I've heard you're a big fan of that. We've had some instances of cancer in my family. My dad is dealing with it now, and so it's a big it's important to us, and I've heard you're a big proponent for it, and I'd love to join you at some point.
It's a tremendous event, Sean, and we would love to. Absolutely, we can figure that out through your PR or whatever. But consider yourself on the team. Absolutely, if you want to ride, we'd love to have you.
That'd be great. Yeah, I look forward to that someday.
Awesome.
Really do.
I'm glad you asked about that, and best to your dad.
Thank you. Appreciate that. You guys have a great rest of your summer, and hopefully you can catch your breath and get that rest you need.
Thanks, Sean. Likewise. Good luck. Right. Sean McDermott with us on the Wester Hotline. The Bills next in action Sunday night at Chicago. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at 803-0550. The James Cook contract happened, and it was no small thing. We'll look for your calls again after the update. Sal Capaccio at 5. This is WGR.
The Buffalo Bills completed a busy offseason this morning as the team officially announced the signing of running back James Cook to a 4-year, $48 million deal. It is $12 million per year, and $30 million of that is guaranteed. And for more on that contract, we do have pieces up at our website, WGR550.com. And also at our website, Sal Capaccio does have a write-up on today's practice, which does include left tackle Dion Dawkins not being present after leaving yesterday early. But if you did miss it, head coach Sean McDermott did join Schopp and the Bulldog in the last segment and confirmed that Dawkins is dealing with a back issue. The team is hopeful it will calm down in the next 24 to 48 hours so Dawkins will be able to travel to Chicago. And we'll also get more on the Bills. Sal Capaccio is going to join the show in just about a half hour at 5 p.m. Also confirmed by Coach McDermott, the team has not decided on who will be playing on Sunday against the Bears. The same is not true, though, for Chicago, as head coach Ben Johnson confirmed the starters, including Caleb Williams, will play on Sunday. And then next up for the Bills, they'll be going to the Windy City a few days early. They'll have a joint practice with the Bears on Friday. And then the Bisons, they fell to Lehigh Valley today, 9-4. And then coming up just after 7 o'clock, the Yankees do host the Twins. The Cubs are north of the border versus Toronto. And the Mets, they have the Braves in town. Again, all those games starting just after 7 o'clock. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
And these guys are all players that we extended this offseason that I feel are still ascending talents in the league. So continue to work on your craft. Don't change who you are just because you've been paid. And I feel very confident every single person that we've paid and the guys you've seen. These guys have come back ready to roll, and I know Jimbo will do that as well. This is the new young core that we kind of putting our money into and be the kind of Buffalo Bills that we want.
Bills GM Brandon Beane this morning. James Cook, 4 for 48. Did you think it would ever get that big? He asked. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Thanks for listening. Sal at 5 will ask Sal the same question. No kidding about, and I know this is many of you too, that glimpse at the stadium, be it from a distance or whether you're like on Abbott Road or something, it looks fake.
My favorite spot to view it from, I've mentioned this more than one time, so sorry to be repetitive, but I don't know that I've even said it with you in the room. We've been off and on here in the summer like it always is. But coming from way out, like Colden, Concord, like Rice Road, if you get on, I have a friend that lives, when I go out to their house, that's where we get on and off, the 219. And that's pretty far out. Get on there coming back, heading north, you go, there's a hill right away, and as you get to the crest of the hill from there, I mean, it's still, I don't know, 20 miles maybe from the stadium. It just looks like something out of Star Wars. It's just sitting out there on the horizon. I mean, it's incredible from that distance. It took my breath away, honestly. I don't mean not to be dramatic. The first time I saw it, like July 4th weekend, I think, in the state of finish that it is. I mean, I've made that drive numerous times since it's been under construction, but it looks so much more like a stadium now than it did even a year ago, of course. It's stunning to see it on the horizon like that from that distance. It blew my mind.
So many words to try to do it justice. Surreal. Like, just by fake, I mean, like, I can't believe it. I mentioned to McDermott, and, you're the same. Driving down there, you live in North Buffalo. I'm not by there very often. But this is the week of the fair. My son is working at the fair. My daughter went. My son went last night. It's the new Canada, Bulldog.
You've been doing the fair.
It's the new Canada.
You're making the drive.
They couldn't give us a week of a break. It's farther than our games in Canada.
I believe that.
It's 45 minutes from where I live.
I believe that.
St. Catharines is 25 with the Nexus.
But when you have the frequency to drive by it, when it's infrequent that you drive by it, it really stands out.
Well, it really is that last night's moment. It wasn't even dark yet. But the 219, I always look for the lights.
Mm-hmm.
It was you were at the same game, 1989 at look for them.
Right.
I'd been to a number of games by then, but you couldn't see them. All you see, of course, as fans know locally, of the stadium from that road is the light posts. You can't see the stadium's down in the ground. You can't see the stadium at all. You just see the lights, which were not turned on anyway.
Right.
So driving to that first mile strip exit and get off and eventually get the tickets, and then we went to New England for that game. But like that's sort of the moment, unless I'm going Route 5, but that my usual drive to the stadium, that's the moment when you're almost there, is when you can see the lights.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look exactly in that direction now, you see the lights, but they look tiny.
Right, because
and
the new
behind them is
so
a whole
huge.
big stadium with a curvy roof that looks like it's from space.
Right.
And it's just like that stadium is up there. You can see it where you can never see the current stadium from that distance. It's just in the hole.
Yeah, the way the stadium, I would say, looks from that road, from that vantage point, is not unlike, I would say, I mean, I had this particular experience because I traveled around West Texas a bit when Owen was playing hockey out there, and from a distance, a high school stadium in Texas that holds like 30,000 fans or so, that's what Ralph Wilson Stadium or New Highmark Stadium looks like from the road, because you can't see how massive the strike. You have no idea that it holds twice that many people. It just, because you're only seeing the little bit of it, the lights and maybe a little of the upper deck or whatever. And so it doesn't look like as big a facility as it actually is, because it's, a lot of it's in the ground.
Which I think for people that have never been there or are rarely there is a really cool feature, probably. Because it was 80,200 forever. So that's the number. That's how big it is, but you can't really realize that until you get to like the intersection, until you get to Southwestern.
And you can actually see inside.
And then you can see it,
right.
Like, okay, now I get it. But from a distance, you can't really notice. You don't really notice that.
It does give you that kind of moment that I still get. I'm going to Fenway Park this Saturday, so I'm thinking about it. Seeing the actual inside the bowl of the stadium, you wait a little while for that. If you're going to your first game, you're taking your kids to their first game, whatever it is. There's going to be a moment like where they see the seats that they see on TV, because on the road from a mile away, you can see the structure kind of, but you don't have any idea what the interior of it looks like, what the field looks like inside, because it's all so in the ground. So.
Chestnut Ridge I mentioned yesterday too, where there's not like a lot of, you could be up on the hill and stand there and gawk at it, right. But just driving past that view, you sort of see it like, wow, this is really happening.
I talked about this with Sal when he was there for the blue and red practice a couple of Fridays ago. Every year that first moment getting to the stadium, you and I have talked about this when we've gone to that practice numerous times. It would be the first time for the new season that we're there, and it's just like going to work at the stadium, like Sean McDermott said, like seeing it from the road. Like, I work there, and like what an honor, what a privilege, what a cool thing. I still feel that way about the stadium, and I feel that way even though I've not worked in all these other stadiums and facilities. Any ballpark in any town, any city, I'm on the road, I'm on a road trip, I have to be careful not to be gawking, going 75 miles an hour on an interstate at the baseball stadium I'm driving by, because I get hypnotized by them. I just think about, have I been there? What games did I go to there? Would I like to go to again? I just start thinking about the team and whatever facility it is. And it just takes my attention away from, the driving, which is not always great.
Also, what does that for me? The Welland Canal.
Really now?
Not kidding. Because you're at the top of that bridge.
Yes. If you happen to get lucky when the lock is whatever, if there's a ship in there and they're doing the thing, that is.
There's no pulling over.
That is a dangerous place. Yes, I agree. I thought you were kidding.
No,
but no,
I'm not kidding.
I
agree. I want to be in the middle lane,
right?
And I want to look left, and then I want to look right, and I want to see the lake to the right. Like, oh wow, that's really cool.
I have literally on that drive tried to position myself, create more of a buffer amongst the traffic that I'm in so that I can look and not feel like I'm endangering myself or anybody else. Like slow down. If I'm close to a guy in front of me, but there's nobody behind me, all right, I'm slowing down here.
I know.
Just create a little room just to make sure in case this guy driving goes haywire, I'm not going to hit him. Because I want to look and see if there's a ship in the canal.
Oh, I want to see the ship. I want to see the is it high or low?
Right.
I want to see the lake. I just don't want to hit anybody while in the process.
On that skyway, yes, that would be.
The Whirlpool Bridge, I've said this before too, is the same. I mean, I'm allowed to drive like 3 miles an hour on the Whirlpool Bridge.
I feel a little safer gawking at the rapids from there.
But you know how you see the water to the left is calm and the water to the right is whitewater. It's because the river is shrunk by 60% or something, so all the water has to go somewhere. And you look to the left, it's super wide and kind of green, and pretty. Then you look to the right, and it's
roaring
Colorado.
Right.
Just right under that bridge is that transformation. Where do we start? Oh, the stadium, yeah.
Yeah.
Driving by. I think I'm not doing that tonight. Might just take it easy tonight, not drive to Hamburg or Canada.
All right. Hamburg/Canada.
One or the other. Hamburg's farther. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Thanks for listening. Sal will join us at 5. This is WGR. Welcome back. Sal coming up at 5. I just hit the dump button instead of my mic. They're both red, but no excuse for that.
Hey, you've been here a while.
I'm not even sure it works. Have you heard anything in the last 15 years about whether that works, that button? Not to give anybody any ideas.
The one that Zach has control over works, but I don't know that the one in here has ever worked.
I believe that works.
Yeah.
Did I just do something
glowing.
then?
Yeah, this is glowing.
It did work. Take note, everybody.
All right.
It works, all right?
We told you.
Don't get any ideas.
You missed it. I just told you how I really feel about everything. But it got dumped.
Yeah, you missed the whole. You missed.
I get all of it.
We just had Taylor Swift on, but you couldn't hear it. It'll be on the Extra Point show tomorrow, re-aired. Spotrac has James Cook's contract.
Oh, okay.
And I don't see, maybe this will be updated, but I don't see yet any sort of obvious breaking point in it where like everything's front loaded because the Bills wink really want it to be 2 years. Doesn't read like that at all. I mean, the dead cap number declines naturally over the years. So each year going forward it would be a little bit easier to get out of it. Not, that doesn't have to be how you think about this. His guaranteed $30 million is spread out mostly over the next year and a half. A little more than half of it was earned today, and then it'll be going into next year, 5th league day of next year, injury guarantee, so if he's hurt, the Bills have an out. But that gets spread out into most of it by 2027 early. And then there are bonuses for every game he's active for those 4 years, $20,000 each. So that's nice, just to be, to get a uniform on game day.
Yep.
There's an escalator that has, according to Spotrac, which uses Pro Football Talk, I think, some reference to making the playoffs and 45% playing time. 2028, 2029. Escalator, interesting number. 45%. That would be of the snaps.
Right.
And this year he was 47. Last year is 47.
Right, around that, 47. Yeah.
So that could be something to watch if we're all still here in 3 years or 4 years.
We're probably going to want to be a little more precise than around that, by the way, for like something that's a contract threshold escalator. And I also saw, I think in the breakdown that I looked at Pro Football Talk earlier, that was just too complicated for me to kind of put anything cogent together to make sense of it, was that some of that was tied to playoff wins too. Like playoff appearances or playoff wins and the snap share overall for the season. But yeah, I'm just looking at that now, and they managed to keep his cap hit barely more. It's $300,000 more next year than it is this year, according to what I'm looking at here. This year, his cap hit number. Oh, hang on. His cap hit's lower than I thought this year. I was looking at.
I got 3.5.
Yeah, I thought it was 5 point something, so I was wrong. Anyway, it's only 5.8 next year. Still, with the first year of the new contract, it's a pretty low cap number. It's not. That's not arduous at all. Of course, it escalates as you go through. 13, 13, and 14 in the final year of the deal.
Exciting.
So yeah, I'll still need like someone out there that's good at this kind of thing. There's usually a few different people around that, media accounts, fan accounts that'll get you like what I consider to be a trustworthy breakdown of like, okay, here's where you can walk. Right. And Mike will even do that. Mike Giannini from Spotrac. It's not here on this page, but maybe he'll even tweet about it. You can do it, here's what it would cost to get out in this year or that year, etc. That's all I would think will be coming in the next few days.
There's one thing I wanted to bring up to Sean McDermott that we didn't, and that's kickoffs. Covered Cook, family stuff, Hard Knocks, stadium, defense.
Additions, right?
Didn't get to kickoffs. Was looking forward to that, but just didn't make the cut, I guess. He was on the competition, or is on the competition committee.
That's right.
So he would have had a voice in all of this. And
right, tush push too.
Tush push too. They wanted to ban it.
Right.
But right now, the league, I think, is trying to figure out, team by team, what to do with the kickoff. They're experimenting. That's what the preseason is good for. Didn't get to that with McDermott. But it was a good conversation, and if you missed it, check it out on the Odyssey app. Your hero got into a fight today. I saw
Michael Penn. I have not seen footage of it. I've only read accounts that he was in the middle of a dust-up. Joint practices, right? Falcons and Titans.
Yes.
So I haven't seen exactly how heated he got in the midst of that. But it's not often you see any quarterback really, but a starting quarterback in the middle of a punch-up at training camp.
Or a coach like we had last week.
Right.
Vrabel.
Yep.
Who are the Dolphins with today? Everything I saw on Twitter was they just got completely outclassed by whoever they were practicing with.
They were with the Lions.
Lions.
That tracks.
The Lions just said, this wasn't worth it. You guys are so bad. Like, we're not learning anything.
We're not getting
here.
anything out of this.
No. Bad scenes for the Dolphins. Sal coming up after sports. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
The Buffalo Bills completed a busy offseason earlier this morning as they officially announced the signing of running back James Cook to a 4-year, $48 million contract that is good for $12 million per year, and $30 million of that is guaranteed. And for more on that contract, we do have pieces up at our website, WGR550.com. Also at our website, Sal Capaccio has his write-up on today's practice, which did include left tackle Dion Dawkins not being present after leaving yesterday early. We had head coach Sean McDermott on the station just about an hour ago, and he did confirm the issue for Dawkins is a back issue, and the team is hopeful it'll calm down so Dawkins will be able to travel to Chicago. And then stay tuned, as coming up next, Sal will join the show. Next for the Bills, though, it is going to be a joint practice against the Bears in Chicago on Friday, ahead of the game on Sunday. For the Bears, head coach Ben Johnson did confirm starters, including quarterback Caleb Williams, will play, while for the Bills, McDermott confirmed that it has not yet been decided who will be playing. Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders has an oblique strain. He is expected to be out when the Browns play the Eagles on Saturday. And then some early afternoon baseball. The Bisons do fall to Lehigh Valley 9-4. And then we do have 3 games coming up just after 7 o'clock. The Yankees host the Twins. The Cubs are north of the border to take on Toronto, while the Mets, they have the Braves in town. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Bulldog, don't be so sure. You just tweeted that your favorite thing about the Cook contract is that next year before the draft, you won't have to listen to any suggestions that the Bills should draft a running back in the first round.
If by just tweeted you mean 8 hours ago. I mean, I don't know how you're just seeing it now. But
you know what happened?
I quote tweeted Bruce Nolan, and that was this morning.
I know what happened because I just noticed it and fixed it. I mistakenly clicked for you.
Oh yeah, well you don't want to live there.
No. I missed it this morning.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm already looking up 2026 draft running back prospects. Listen, hear me now and believe me later. Jeremiah Love, 6 foot 206 for Notre Dame, 6.9 yards per carry. I need a power. I just won the Super Bowl. I don't need anything. I mean, it's time to rein in Allen's rushing. Cook is small. Here we go. 17 touchdowns. That's more than Cook?
Is Sal late or something?
Sal Capaccio on the Worcester Hotline.
Sal, help me! Man down in the studio. Man down.
6.9 yards per rush.
We got a situation.
It's
We heard Jeremy saying the same thing today. Which
Did
was
he?
Basically, his favorite part of this contract is that we don't talk about a first-round running back next year. I don't think that's going to be on the table. Not for a few years. The way that this sounds, right? I mean, people have to remember this isn't just like James Cook, 4 years. It's a 4-year extension. He has 1 year left in his rookie deal. This is essentially a 5-year deal. He's going to be with the Bills for the next several years. Now, short of injury, and the Bills keeping him healthy because of, his running style and not giving him the incredible workload that some running backs have. I think that they plan on him being their lead back here for the next, several years.
That's maybe, for me, Sal, the wildest thing about this. I mean, I could have envisioned a scenario where Cook got close to his desired money, but through 2029, you can get out of these things, and eventually it becomes less painful to do so. But that was always part of the equation for me is, would the Bills want to commit to him at a healthy pay rate for years? And I thought, he didn't have a deal, so I guess I might have assumed maybe they didn't. But they got there.
Yeah, the term isn't as much for me, Mike, because as you said, I think that, you can always get out of these things. Look at the guarantees of $30 million. So let's just say after, 2 years of the extension, so 3 years from now, and they're like, you know what, we're going to pull the chute on this and do something different, then you've sunk $10 million a year in them, really, is what it amounts to. Maybe it could be more, depending on certain structures and things like that. So I think that that's always kind of a way to look at it. The salary cap is always going up There's always ways to kind of move things around. Dead money you can take on. You can also restructure contracts. To me, it was always the number. 12 still felt a little bit higher than what the Bills would always kind of be wanting to do at this position, that type of money. But I think that, they needed to get this done for a few reasons. Number one, obviously, James Cook is a really terrific player. He's a big part of their offense. There's no doubt about that. But I think even, listening to Brandon Beane talk today and even hearing Sean talk with you guys a little while ago, there's an element here of, let's not let this thing linger. We can't let something derail our season here. There's a good player. Let's get this thing done. I always thought about it this way. If James Cook told the Bills, you know what, I don't really need to resign. I'm going to bet on myself and have a monster year, and I'm going to go to the highest bidder next year. Would the Bills have been super eager and saying, okay, we need to get you done? So I'm sure they want him back, as Brandon Beane said. I would never question that. But I think this came to a point where the Bills just said, we need to get this done now because this is becoming an issue.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder, we can't know how players, honestly, I know how they talk publicly, and a lot of that is believable. Like they want the guy to get his money, but it's a team and it's a business, and we understand all that. So just sort of keep your head down and keep your nose out of that, right? Nobody ever wants to say anything that's critical of either the team or the player in that situation. If you're another player on the team, it's just sort of like, if that were me, I wouldn't want people kicking at me and doing what I feel I need to do. So that's how that usually goes. But I wonder, internally, for a team that has such high expectations here, right? I mean, we know the lay of the land here. They're another year into being a favorite for the Super Bowl. It's easy for me to sit here on the outside and go, don't worry about it. He doesn't have any leverage, and don't sweat it. Let him walk. You can replace him next year going into a season that has really, I don't want to say Super Bowl or bust, but that's what a lot of the fan base sounds like.
Yeah, we've always said, and I think Brady even referenced this today, players pay attention to who gets paid and the respect of their teammates and, how the organization is treating people, right? So I think there was always from a fellow locker room standpoint, we want our guy to get paid, but it's also hey, we need him out here. So, you don't want to necessarily pick sides, right? No one's doing that because you're rooting for James Cook, but you also know that he's a big part of what you do. And you want to have him on the field, and you're going to start game planning for the Baltimore Ravens here within the next probably week or so. You're going to start doing that. So this was always a big part of the equation, I think, when you put the entire puzzle together. I mean, guys, after practice today, I don't know if you saw my tweet about this. We waited I talked with Terrell Bernard and also Greg Rousseau, who had signed their extensions this year, about James getting his. And then a bunch of the media, we waited for Christian Benford. He was on the field pretty late doing some things. So finally, Benford comes over, and first question is, what do you think about, James Cook, now that you guys are all together? And he literally, I'm not kidding, he legit did not know. He did not know James Cook signed a contract extension. And I said to him, yeah, he signed a 4-year extension, reported $48 million, $30 million guaranteed. And his response was, fire. He said, was the first word he used, congrats, big dog. And he just had all these things to say about James Cook. And it just dawned on me that, Christian Benford is doing his thing. He's doing what he needs to do. He's letting this impact how he plays football. Yeah, he knows this is out there, but, he's got to go out and do his business.
It's like when Allen didn't know that Trey White was on the team again.
Right.
You get some better Wi-Fi out there.
Which I still wonder was how much he really didn't know.
I know.
But, he said that. But because I thought about that same thing, Mike, but I'm not kidding you. Christian Benford did not know that James Cook signed a contract extension today.
There are lots of times when I pretend to not know things. That's not to say that would be the case today. Why would he need to fake that? Sal Capaccio on the West Her hotline. Well, if you haven't spoken to this yet, as far as you're concerned, will this be worth it? I think if anybody's critical of the terms, the compromise is, well, for this year, my headache's gone. I don't have to worry about that, and that's good. Yesterday I told you I thought it would be negligent if the Bills couldn't get a deal done with Cook, but I never thought it was really going to land this high with the dollar amount and guarantees and years even. So will it be worth it? Is it for you, Sal, one of those where probably down the road this will be the headache will return, but you're not going to worry about that right now?
I think it's a risky thing to pay a running back this much money. I do. And I just think that the Bills have treated this position the right way, which is we don't invest really big assets or really big money into this position. He's also a really good player. He's very important to them. When you ask, is it worth it, there's two ways to look at that. Number one is the money worth it based on what he does for the team, $12 million, look at the comparables, the other guys in the league. I think that's super debatable no matter who you ask. You could poll probably 50 Bills fans and pretty much get half and half. Some will say, yes, it is. Some will say, no, it isn't. They should have paid him that much. Where I think that the Bills, I think James Cook won in that regard, right? I think James Cook got paid, and he got paid $12 million, and that's good money, and he got $30 million guaranteed. Whether he should have gone about it the way he did or what our feelings might be about the agent and how he handled things, at the end of the day, I think they kind of did a good job here for themselves. But I think where it could be worth it for the Bills is this is a guy that they've identified with Greg Rousseau, Terrell Bernard, Christian Benford, and Khalil Shakir, that they're all the core group that they're trying to win a Super Bowl with over the next 5 years with Josh Allen. It's 1 plus another 4. Allen's under contract for 6. They have clearly made that identification, which is this is our core. We went with Micah and Jordan and Stephon Diggs and Mitch Morris and Gabe Davis. We got close. It didn't work out. This is the new core. We talk about that with hockey a lot. This is the new core in football. And I think from that standpoint, it's worth it where you've identified your guy. You don't have to worry about who that guy is. You know what? A couple of years from now, could there be some financial pains? Sure. But you deal with that because he's a really good player, and you do not have to worry about doing anything different with this offense for the next few years.
Sal Capaccio on the Western Hotline with us. The Bills will travel to Chicago tomorrow, I presume in the afternoon, and then practice jointly with the Chicago Bears on Friday. They will play a preseason game Sunday night in Chicago. Sal, how about the Dion Dawkins information we got from McDermott last hour? A back flare-up is what it sounds like, and it doesn't sound super serious at this point, at least.
It doesn't, I agree, but for him to say they hope it calms down the next 24 to 48 hours and he can practice, I mean, that's still in question, right? Whether he's going to practice on Friday and whether or not he's going to play in the game on Sunday. I think this is the kind of scenario and situation where you want as many starters available for Friday, obviously. That's really good work against the Bears. That's a joint practice, one-on-ones, 11-on-11, inside drill for the line, whatever, tackles against edges, all that stuff that Dion's going to be a part of. So from that standpoint, it's concerning. It's also, to me, concerning for the fact that you have injuries on the offensive line right now, guys. I mean, Spencer Brown has had his back flare up, but you know what? At least he's been there, and things have been good for about a week or so. It feels like that's on the right track. Tylan Grable is in concussion protocol right now, right? So he's not out there. He's not working. So, I mean, suddenly Ryan Vandermark just became a really important piece of the Buffalo Bills roster. Not that he wasn't, an important depth part, but I mean, way more than that even. This is a guy that might have to start at left tackle or at right tackle if something were to continue having another back flare up to, Spencer Brown. This is why it's important to me, and that's why it's concerning for me, which is you now have to start thinking about, what it looks like going forward with some of these guys. With Dion personally, Dion's been very durable, very available in his career. It sounds to me like this is something that they're just going to make sure that they have taken care of before they put him on the field to make sure that he's right for week 1, if not obviously way before that.
You also add Alec Anderson to that pile of
right.
Working himself back. I mean, he's a guard, not a tackle, so it's not really pertinent to the conversation about Dawkins and Brown, but it is another offensive line situation, and it's a guy that played, a good amount last year in a very specific role.
No, that's right, and Alec Anderson did practice today, by the way. It did individual work and position work, I should say. He wasn't fully out there. He did individual and position work today, which is great to see. Caught up with him after practice, and just like you would expect Alec Anderson to be a little bit, have a little edge to him about not practicing, right? He's like, it sucks not to be out there with his team. He really wants to. He's been trying to get out there. He's putting the faith in the training staff. He obviously trusts them. But he wants to be out there and help his team. There's no doubt about that. And, yeah, he's another guy that you can add to that mix.
Sal, I guess this is getting back to Cook, I suppose, but just thinking about, I hear Alec Anderson's name, and I think about the Bills' identity last year and just what they were on offense. And some of the conversation around Cook was, well, is he going to play more? If I'm going to pay him at this much of a higher rate, do I need to use him more? Do you think the Bills' staff cares about that? Like, would any of this be a sign of increased usage for James Cook? Because I think, A, why would they want to do that, given the success they just had using him the way they did? And B, well, now there's a long-term investment. You might want to be careful with his usage, thinking about now that you're committed for years to come. They were so successful. I guess that was A. Do you think there's any reason to predict a different kind of workload for Cook?
No, unless James Cook shows that he can do a few things differently or better than he has, like pass protection, and maybe you can squeeze him on third down a little bit more. But that's completely separate than I think what you're asking, which is I would say that there is no reason whatsoever that the Bills would believe just because they paid him more, they have to use him more. And by the way, I think that would be a terrible philosophy if the Bills did think that.
Same.
The reason James Cook is getting paid is because of what he does right now, what his role is. So why would you make it any different to me, right? Like, this guy for this role, he's really good at it, we're going to pay him for it. It's not, we're going to pay you more, so you better do more now. I don't see that at all. I do like your point, though, Mike, about the long-term investment. I think they have to be careful with that. I don't think it's any less usage either, right? Like, this is the perfect kind of role for him to maintain his long-term usage and to keep him doing exactly what he's doing right now, where you don't have to say, no, we're paying you, so you have to, perform more and play more on the field. I mean, if that's not what he's good at, that's not what is his best role, then I'll use your word. Like, that would be negligent, I think, on the Buffalo Bills to do something like that. Their job is to win football games and, put these guys in the best position possible, not put players in the field because they're making a certain paycheck.
Why can't the Twins ever beat the Yankees?
9 in a row now.
I don't believe these stats. I don't think they've ever beaten the Yankees once.
It's incredible. It's incredible. I know. Every time they play, I'm like, oh, my God, like, the Yankees win the series. They sweep the series generally. You got 9 in a row now, Bulldog? Is that right?
I saw on the crawl today they've beaten them 9 games in a row.
It's 9 in a row, which goes back a couple of years, I guess, and including playoffs at home, 31-5 in their last 36. Wow. Again, I don't think these 5 exist. I think they're just being kind because the Twins are down.
This is the Tom Brady Patriots against the Bills.
It's almost that. It's almost that. And their games are almost never close.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. It's great. I mean, like, sometimes teams just, I don't know. Baseball can be like this too. I guess the team is just in your head, and you get into a funk. You see the pinstripes to the other side, or whatever it is, and suddenly your bats go cold or whatever. But I'm not complaining. The Yankees need as many wins as much help as they can get right now.
Yeah, we have a lacrosse rivalry like that, Bulldog.
You just can't get past this one team.
There's one team that always beats my kids' team, but they lose to other teams. It's really a dilemma.
Bad matchup.
Elijah Moore missed today, right?
Yeah, quite a few guys were out today, including like 4 receivers, by the way.
Right.
That includes Khalil Shakir, Elijah Moore, Curtis Samuel, and Tyrell Shavers. None of them practiced today. So, you're dipping it again to your depth chart. He did not. We'll see what happens. We don't have an update. We don't get official injury updates. You guys, good job on you guys, by the way, to ask about Deion, because we didn't get an update on that.
Right? Yeah, that was on my list coming in, because I even asked off the air, like, did McDermott talk today? And like, no, that was yesterday. Bean spoke today. I'm like, okay, so we don't know about Dawkins. There was no info online, so I thought, we should at least try to find that out.
Yeah, and sometimes we'll get information, after practice on certain guys, but in situations, but we didn't get anything today. So good on you. You guys got that. And then we'll see what happens with some of these receivers going forward. Curtis Samuel did do some work with trainers off to the side today, again, for a second straight day, which was good. No Cam Lewis today. Didn't see him anywhere, at all, so I'm not sure exactly what that was. I know I saw him yesterday walking into the field house after practice, so who knows? Maybe a personal day, maybe a vet rest, but vet rest would generally be on the field. It could be literally something like Deion, maybe something flared up. You never know with these kinds of things. But the good news was for today that both Taylor Rapp and Cole Bishop returned, and they both did team drills today. So they're both in with the defense, not just doing positional.
Well, hopefully that carries over into Friday and then into Saturday's preseason game, because even if lots of starters aren't going to play, the way McDermott's talking about these safeties and having the two of them together, time on task together, working together, that's a group. Even if the rest of the defensive starters aren't playing, I'd be advocating for Rapp and Bishop to get on the field for a series or two against the Bears. Maybe it'll be more than that. We'll see in the end. Sal, before we wrap up, I know just a week ago, ago. Last Tuesday was the debut, episode 1 of Hard Knocks. Mike did bring it up with Sean McDermott, and we had some fun talking about how they take it in, if at all. Any takeaways? Like, I watched it this morning, and there were some powerful moments there. Terry Pagula talking about the situation in his own home, not knowing where the AED was, and just how sad that turned out to be, was very powerful. That would be my biggest takeaway, was that. How about you?
My biggest takeaway is that it's really just kind of not providing any juicy storylines or drama, and that's exactly what the Buffalo Bills want, right? I mean, if they can have the next 2 episodes, whatever it is for, right? They can have the next 2 episodes exactly like the first 2, which is highlight some guys, have a few funny moments, have a few really cool plays at practice. I think that's perfectly fine with the Bills. It might not be juicy for the rest of the NFL and the NFL fan viewing audience. But I just think that's exactly right. I like, and I thought at some point they would focus on Joe Andreessen. They did that. That was really nice to see yesterday. Ray Davis, him, kicking, but I do wonder at some point, are they going to get into his story about, growing up in a foster home? I thought that might be something. It hasn't happened yet, but yeah, nothing juicy, and that's exactly what the Buffalo Bills want from this.
Vanilla, just like the preseason game plans. Not even French vanilla.
The best vanilla.
Creamy, not, kind of spicy and interesting. The vanilla bean is sort of it's vanilla, but we're still good. That's too strong for people. We're going to make it French vanilla. It's that soft.
I put French vanilla or hazelnut in my coffee. I don't drink like regular creamer or milk or having that, but it's either French vanilla or hazelnut.
Ice cream? Literally ice cream?
No, he means like the flavored creamers.
Okay.
About,
yeah.
That's an interesting move, though.
Yeah, notice they wouldn't have vanilla bean creamer because then it would be like putting sand in your coffee.
These game plans are vanilla.
You wouldn't be able to do that.
They're French vanilla. That's how lame they are. Yeah, I've heard the same thing as Sal said about Hard Knocks. There's no edge.
No.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that there's some criticism of that around the league and people watch it. But, I think Bills are like, that's great. Like, we'll take it. No doubt about it. Right. I do want to say before I go, guys, that, just on the injuries. So I posted the video today. Joshua Palmer he had like what looked like his leg, like really wrapped all the way from ankle to upper thigh on his left leg, and then a sleeve over it. But he did everything. He was in practice. And not only that, but like, he was really good today. Like, it was a guy who caught my eye today. Joshua Palmer was making plays today, catching the ball, and he was doing it. I don't think he was 100%. And I'm like, man, this guy, he's tough. He's a gamer, and he's getting some chemistry here with Josh Allen, which it's really interesting to see, considering, of course, the other receivers and them being out and some of the injuries they're dealing with. And I think it's a really obviously positive development here for the Bills and their offense.
Very good. Thanks, Sal. We'll talk to you, I guess, Friday probably.
That sounds about right. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
There's Sal Capaccio on the West Her Hotline. His appearances are brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet? The contract breakdown from Mike Giannini at Spot Track came through while we were talking to Sal, and here I'll read you the whole tweet. I just retweeted it. 4 years, $46 million base, 15.28 guaranteed at signing, 10.6 more next February/March, 10.3 million in 2025 cash, 1 million 28-29 escalator. Here's the key part: 3 years, $30.1 million practical. So, what my takeaway from that usually is like that is more like what the actual contract is, and what sounds like year 4, just walk away if you want. There'll be some, I would think, dead money there, but really 4 years, 48. It's what I was hoping for. I said earlier, like 4 for 48, I'm hoping 3 for 30 is what we end up with, and that's what Mike is saying. Practically speaking, that's what we've got. With
Good
the
to know.
Contract.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. What do you think? It happened. The deal for Cook. 803-0550. This is WGR.
$48 million deal, $12 million per year. $30 million of that is guaranteed. And for more on the contract, we do have pieces up at our website, WGR550.com. Also on the website, Sal Capaccio, his write-up on today's practice, which did include left tackle Dion Dawkins not being present after leaving yesterday early. Head coach Sean McDermott earlier today on the station confirmed that Dawkins is dealing with a back issue. The team is hopeful it'll calm down so that Dawkins will be able to travel to Chicago. As up next for the Bills is a joint practice with the Bears on Friday ahead of the game on Sunday. For the Bears, head coach Ben Johnson did confirm starters, including quarterback Caleb Williams, will play on Sunday, while Coach McDermott did not confirm if anyone will be playing particularly on Sunday. Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders has an oblique strain. He is expected to be out when the Browns play the Eagles on Saturday. And then the Bisons, they had some early afternoon baseball at home. They do fall, though, to Lehigh Valley 9-4. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
You know, those five guys up front on the offensive line, that continuity is important, and their communication that ensues from that continuity, and, you know, Dion being a big piece of that. So not having that in practice, we don't want that, but from time to time, you know, you get a chance to look at somebody else. In this case, you know, Vandy and what he's been able to do and grow and, you know, get those valuable reps. That's kind of the opportunity that comes up in situations like this.
Sean McDermott with us, 4 o'clock hour, Eastern. Vandy is Ryan Vandemark. What would Cedric Van Pran Granger be? Would he be Van?
I think he's initials.
That's so many initials.
Yeah, but like VPG.
VPG.
Van Pran. I like this guy when they drafted him, and I botched his name. I don't think a year ago I was having a problem. This year, it's just, I don't know. I'm 60 now. I can't say Cedric Van Pran Granger without really concentrating. It takes everything I've got to get through that. I got to really dig in. If I try to rush it, Cedric Van. See, I can't. I got to really work.
You better find out what the nickname is.
Yes,
you need it.
Yeah.
Vandemark is no trouble, or else are you going to be calling him Vandy?
I'm good with Vandemark. That flies right out of my mouth without a thought.
That's a relief. Here's JD next. Hello.
Oh, hey, guys. Yeah, I just want to say I think that the coaching staff made a mistake against the Chiefs in the championship game, and I don't think 13 carries for James Cook is enough. I think I agree with Sal that his number of carries can't be related to the money, but I'll say this. I think he should be from 48, he should be going up to 55 or more percent at least. I think he should be touching the ball in the backfield 20 times a game. And I'm a firm believer that he is the Terrell Davis to your John Elway. You don't win a Super Bowl without him. And unless you unleash him, he is the Bills are not going to win one if it's all about Josh Allen. I will say this. I think most running backs are a dime a dozen. He is not. He has tremendous speed. And I don't think you can discount that. I have no problem with this deal today, and I would put it on the coaching staff to seriously ramp up the number of carries that James Cook gets, and I'll hang up and listen.
My concern about that, I mean, there's no question I think he's the most talented running back they have. The high-end speed is, I don't know. Ty Johnson's pretty fast, but I don't know if they had a race who would win. But either way, the concern that I would have with using him more because he's produced with such a small sample is durability. He's not a big guy. He's not an every down type bruiser. He's not that player. And so I would want to, you're talking about 47% to 55%. Like, that's a tolerable uptick in usage, at least sitting here right now. That doesn't sound scary to me at all. But they got such good results out of the timeshare. Like, yes, I know that they lost to the Chiefs with James Cook on the sidelines in the end, on the final possession of the game. So that's ultimately scoreboard for how the system works, I guess. But I don't know. Every time I hear Josh Allen talk about how good James Cook is and how much he values him and wants to see this thing get settled prior to it getting settled today, in the same sitting with the media, he's going to tell you that he thinks Ty Johnson is the best third down back in the league. So, and I like Ray Davis as a change of pace. So I'm not eager to change anything, and it's not because I don't think Cook could perhaps give you more in certain situations than the other guys. It's just that it might cause you to not have Cook for the situations you have him in now if something happens to him because you use him more. He's just not a big thundering guy. He's more elusive and is more of a finesse player at the position, and I want to protect that from as much collision as I can, I think.
I mean, it's all a matter of opinion, right? How good do you think he is? Terrell Davis is in the Hall of Fame. I mean, find me somebody in the world who is not a Bills fan that thinks James Cook is top 10. Most running backs are a dime a dozen. He's not. I mean, do you want names? I mean, it's a day to celebrate James Cook, right? I don't need to be like this. It's just so often his, in my opinion, quality is so weirdly inflated. They can't win a Super Bowl without him. I mean, he's been on the field for these last 3 years, and they've lost the same way they've lost other years. He's the difference. If he's on the field at the end of the Chiefs game, it works out. Maybe. Why isn't he? This is kind of what you just said. Why isn't he on the field? They're not nuts. They average 30 points a game. He'll get an uptick in usage if they're not crushing teams as often. Like, it seems maybe counterintuitive because he's a running back, but if they're in more competitive games, I think not in the fourth quarter when they're trailing, like in that case necessarily.
2-minute drill type thing. You want your third down back in there probably, yeah.
But I think he plays more often if they, like their defense falters, like they have a more difficult season. But, oh my God, like who that isn't a Bills fan thinks he's elite? I don't know. I don't know anybody I know it's fantasy, and anything I can say from people that I know in fantasy, you can say back to me, well, that's fantasy. But these are a lot of smart people who aren't rooting for one team. And James Cook scored 18 touchdowns last year. Nobody wants to draft him in the fourth round. Why? I don't know. Because that's not really fair. I mean, I know it's fantasy, and that's more of a point about scoring and volume than it is about quality. But those things are connected. Like if he were better, he might get used like Jonathan Taylor or Bijan Gibbs is part-time, but he's amazing. Achane, if you want him. Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. Like there are, and the list goes on. I mean, I think there are lots of guys who come in above him. It doesn't have to matter. This only sort of rankles me when it's this particular, somebody calls in and says he's Terrell Davis. Like, what?
That's a 2,000-yard rusher in the NFL.
Like, that's an all-time great. And I just do not at all think their Super Bowl chances hinge on him. I think that's ridiculous. There's no player on the Bills other than Allen who this rides on. Just there isn't. What have they proven at wide receiver? They took Diggs off the team, who wasn't anymore at his peak. But damn, like how good was he? And they, even at a pretty serious cost, they just dumped him, and they broke the franchise scoring record and went farther the next year in the playoffs. Like they've kind of proven Singletary, Moss, Latavius Murray, James Cook. They're topping out at the same point, and for me to blame that on coaching,
not using him,
isn't right.
Right.
It's just, I just think only a Bills fan would ever think of that as a point. Doesn't mean you're wrong. I'm not saying I know I'm right. I just know that that's not, I think, how they talk in the outside world. I don't mean ESPN. Like today, he just got $48 million, and everybody's going to tell you how good he is, right? That's what we're doing today.
Sure.
That's fine. I mean, today's the day to do that.
And he is a certain level of good. Like, I'm glad he's on the team still. I'm glad that, it got settled. I don't love the money. It's all being buffered by 3 for 30 from Mike Giannitti at Spot Track a little bit, because that's like more in line with what, I think maybe the first time we ever talked about this, that was like as far as I would go. $10 million a year for
right.
3 years. If I, if I have to do it, my life depends. Okay, fine, there. So that's not the actual contract, but it's one way to perceive the value of it, and that sounds different than 4 for $48 when you say it. I mean, it's a big difference.
Yep.
So. I'm not either upset about it, but I don't want to overdo it. Yeah, I mean, the talking points on the TV shows are all just one of the best young players in the league got his money. Like that's it. And okay, I don't need to throw myself in front of that train. It runs on time every day, every hour, every minute, year round.
Everybody's good.
The NFL info train just never stops.
Here's Chase next. Hi, Chase.
Yes, hi. I agree and disagree with several of your points. First of all, like the second-round picks, Singletary, Moss, all that stuff before. James Cook is way better than those guys by far. You can't say that without a doubt. And he's only had 225 carries the last 2 years. He's 25 years old. He's fresh. The cap keeps going up every year. The last 2 to 3 years, more running backs has gotten paid over $9 million than before that by far. The only one not being a top running back that makes less than that is Derrick Henry, and he took less money to be on the Ravens to try to win a Super Bowl, and he makes $8 million a season. But it was a 4-year, $48 million contract, and the Bulldog just said, it's really 10 for or 3 for 30. You can get out of the deal. And for as good of a player as he was last year, I only think he's going to get better. I don't think he's going to score 16 touchdowns every season, no. But I think he's going to score 10. And we haven't had a running back this good since Shady McCoy. No one can really dispute that at all. And
I wouldn't.
No one.
My biggest argument, though, for all of our teams, Sabres and Bills, is when you got good players, you got to have good players to have good teams. But then you always want to get rid of them if our teams are losing or we don't make it all the way. And it's just just because we went to the championship game and we didn't win, it's not James Cook's fault. I
didn't say it was.
Nobody said it was. The other caller was saying that's the reason they haven't won, which is a different comment. But anyway.
This doesn't feel much like the Sabres to me. I don't think anything you said before we started talking is wrong. I would never say he's not better than Singletary. My point to mention his name was just this is how far the team went, and last year this is also how far the team went. It's about running back value.
You are right about that, but we used the running back way more last year than we did in Singletary years, too.
That's right. They were more like a 60-40 pass to run, and now they're more 50-50, so that is swung.
Josh Allen ran more back then, too. He had 600-something yards that season.
Well, look, I don't think we really disagree here. I wasn't trying to get rid of him. All I've been sitting here for 6 months trying to do is figure out what to do with him contractually, and they came in a little bit higher than I thought, given all the speculation, than they would need to. I think they came in for what I was expecting above what I thought they needed to. I don't have to be right about that, but I did think the whole time that they would pay him because that's what the Bills do, and there are just no consequences. Other than criticism in the public, there are never any consequences. Explain to me how they've ever gotten burned. Von Miller, all these deals that seem like, this is going to hurt. What would Brandon Beane say? Yeah, maybe. But we're trying to win, and he's good, and that's it. We'll deal with that then. And with all, wouldn't it be nice in your life if every time you turned around you had a bigger budget? But that's the Bills. They always have a bigger budget, right. And so. Okay, it's only about running back value, and the caller who got me going on Cook was talking about how good he is, and you're not really arguing with us or me on that. You're saying he's better than Singletary, and I'm not saying different. But I just don't think he's top 10 in the league, and that doesn't have to matter at all to what the Bills did today. He's the guy who's here, and he's been very productive. So figure it out. And they did. Thanks, Chase. Very good. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog back after this here on WGR.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day alright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over, it's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole of life. And now it's about to leave. Oh, roller coaster.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. If you missed our conversation with head coach Sean McDermott, you can find it on the Odyssey app. Hopefully. I mean, that's what they tell me. You can find things like that on the Odyssey app.
It better be there.
It was only like an hour and a half ago, so it should be there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you got to trust it. Here's Bill with us. Hi, Bill.
Hey, guys. First of all, I've agreed with everything you guys have been saying about running backs, and especially Cook, because he's been the latest forever and for the past couple months on top of it. Even Steve Tasker during the day is like, I don't know about paying a running back that kind of money. I don't like the deal. I thought they just play out the year, see how he does. If you want to pay him, pay him. If not, tag him or let him go and get another guy. For all the obvious reasons you've already said. My thing is this, though. Okay. First thing I thought when they gave him this deal is he going to be out there more? I mean, if he's out there more, maybe I can be okay with it a little more, because I don't like the deal at all. And then I started hearing not from you guys, but Sal kind of was alluding to, well, they don't know if they're going to put him out there much more, 45%. And my big thing, the argument of not paying him, my biggest thing was not only the obvious ones to not pay a running back, because the injury history and all that stuff, with any running back, not him specifically, but just the running back by committee is the way to go. It's just bad business to sign running backs with big money. We've seen deals go bad a million times by now. But the argument now in reverse is going to be, oh, well, he doesn't have to be out there, any more snaps than he was before. And I'm like, doesn't that kind of go against everything that we've been saying for years about the running back by committee and overpaying a guy? I mean, he should be out there more. I mean, if you're going to get the big deals like Jacobs, Barkley, the list goes on, Henry, whoever, McCaffrey, you got to be out there. And now the guy from the Rams was also out there, I believe, like 80% of the snaps or something?
87, yeah.
I'm like, he's got to play more.
Well, I hear you, and it's somewhat philosophical, a debate you can have with yourself or with your friends or with us on the radio. I'm with Sal. I do not want the contract to mean they play him more, because that to me ups the chance that he isn't there to even play the role that he's already giving you. Like it works. Their running back room works the way it is. And yes, Cook is at the top of that heap, and there is value in having him here. But I think having him available is important. So I would not want to increase his workload just because to validate the contract. And like that whole thing is an episode of chasing your own tail. That's why you don't want to give him the contract. But now that you gave him the contract, do you feel compelled to use him more? You shouldn't. I hope they don't. And I know that maybe is like the opposite of what seems like it would make sense. I'm investing in you. I believe in you. You're this valuable. Therefore, you should be on the field this much more because you're so valuable, and I'm demonstrating it by paying you. I think that would be a mistake in this case.
I mean, I'm trying to think of other examples here as you're talking. I just can't get myself to correlate usage with money. I mean, he works doing what he does. And I think it will fluctuate and maybe go up, like I said before, if they're in more competitive games. But I think it works. Like when they signed Von Miller, can I get away with this comparison? When they signed Von Miller, it was always situational, right? Like he was never going to be on the field. They rotate defensive line and linebackers a lot, or edge rushers a lot anyway. But the understanding was he was going to play in key situations.
Yeah, probably under 50% of the snaps, maybe 60 as a top.
Right. He went 61% to 32 to 33 in his 3 years, and there was the injury in between there. So say 60% is about maybe what they thought they wanted from him. And did anybody think that needed to go up? If the team is humming, I don't see why I need to adjust Cook, really. I mean, if I can get away with the Von Miller, I'm thinking about relief pitchers. Should Mariano Rivera have pitched 3 innings a game because he was so good? Like, no, you do what we think we need you to do, and you're great at it. And we can move a little bit here with Cook, but I don't think it's a scandal that if he doesn't play more, I guess. I'm having a tough time seeing that logic. Thank you, Bill. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. We'll be right back. This is WGR.
everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go! All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over, it's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole of life. And now it's about to leave. Oh, roller coaster.
The Buffalo Bills got to work early today and wrapped up a busy offseason with the signing of running back James Cook to a 4-year, $48 million deal. That is $12 million per year. $30 million of that contract is guaranteed. And for more on that deal, we do have pieces up at our website, WGR550.com. Also at our website, Sal Capaccio has his write-up for today's practice. That does include left tackle Dion Dawkins not being present after leaving yesterday early. Earlier today, head coach Sean McDermott did confirm with Schopp and the Bulldog that it was a back flare-up for Dawkins. The team is hopeful it'll calm down so Dawkins will be able to travel with the team to Chicago. And the team is heading out a little bit earlier ahead of their game on Sunday, as the team will be having a joint practice with the Bears on Friday. Bears head coach Ben Johnson confirmed starters including quarterback Caleb Williams will be playing on Sunday, while the same cannot be said for the Bills. No confirmation on who will be playing just yet. And then some early afternoon baseball as the Bisons fell to Lehigh Valley 9-4. And then we do have 3 games coming up just after 7 o'clock. The Yankees host the Minnesota Twins. The Cubs are north of the border versus Toronto, while the Mets, they are also at home and they will have Atlanta in town. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Hard salami's okay, but it's not as good, right? Although maybe if you're French vanilla, you'd be like hard salami.
You mean the best vanilla?
The fake vanilla.
The delicious
the
vanilla.
Fake vanilla.
The creamy vanilla without sand and dirt in it.
It's Mike Schopp.
I like that
Sand
one.
and dirt. The beans.
Yeah.
The
yes,
specks.
Yes.
Are the problem.
It's granular.
The actual what vanilla is, the absolute worst take you've ever had. Because it's on different levels of offensiveness.
I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
And the Bulldog.
Maybe when you first made the ice cream, they were interested in making it, I don't know, good, and added cream to it to make it creamy, thus ice cream, not ice sand, ice gravel.
People, what do we even do?
I mean, what are we talking about?
Help.
Police! Help! Police! Help!
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
When you go on vacation, do you make notes for when you get back?
I have done that, sure. Yeah.
I did that off and on last week, and the last note on my page was from listening to the Bills game. Eric Wood often referred to the Bills' vanilla game plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's not even a vanilla game plan. It's a French vanilla game plan. Because there's no authenticity here at all.
The slander on French vanilla ice cream that just goes relatively unchallenged because I'm bored of making the argument is I don't want to be so redundant, but you just keep atomic elbowing French vanilla ice cream.
It's poor vanilla anyway. What did vanilla do to get
aside from
labeled
being delicious?
All vanilla.
Yeah.
My kid's favorite ice cream flavor, vanilla. I think it'd probably be the most popular.
I suppose that might be right.
Yet it's just put down. Every reference to vanilla in sports
is boring.
Is like you're not trying.
It's bad, right?
Poor vanilla.
Yeah, that's right. I appreciate that, whether it's French or even vanilla bean. I would want to stick up for it because it is my favorite. And I will, if I have no other choice. And vanilla bean is the ice cream that has been brought to my home for whatever celebration we're having. I'm going to eat the hell out of some vanilla bean ice cream. I'm not going to like it as much as French vanilla, but I'll eat it.
I propose every week we get a segment sponsored on Mondays or the day after games where we associate the Bills' game plan with an ice cream flavor. A lot of trick plays. What would that be? Rocky Road.
Something with marshmallows in it.
Okay.
Rocky Road. There you go.
Bam!
Right.
Marshmallows.
Right.
It's a marshmallow game plan.
Right.
You don't want that.
No. Cotton candy. That'd be a terrible football game plan. My kids used to get that. The cotton candy. The blue and purple and pink swirls. It's terrible.
Right.
What are we doing?
Right. You want that Breyers strawberry where the strawberries are in it.
Yeah.
That's what you
see
want.
The seeds,
that's a game plan.
Seeds on the strawberries.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's go.
That is That is, man, you guys nailed it. Subjective.
Yeah.
Here's Rob with us. Hello, Rob.
Hey, how you guys doing? I appreciate you taking my call.
Thank you. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Bulldog. I listened to your show in the beginning, at the beginning of your show, while I was finishing up my work shift, and I was that I thought that signing Cook was almost a necessity for two reasons. Number one was definitely good vibes heading into a Super Bowl window year.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second thing, and equally as important, if not more, was that I really didn't know where the explosive plays were going to be coming from if James Cook wasn't on the team.
Yep.
I know a lot of people love Shakir, and he's got some run after catch ability, but the actual explosive home run hitting that Cook provides,
we've gotten cut off here, Rob, but I like where you were going. I think it, while I never needed them to do this, the case from the other side, largely, to me, if I were making it, and sometimes I would, sitting here by myself on days Mike was off and just having a conversation and talking about, trying to look at it from all angles. Who is the next most valuable player on the offense? Skill position-wise, right? I mean, you pick one of the tackles, probably Dion, if you're really ranking, right, positional value. But as far as dangerous player that can hurt you from anywhere on the field, it should be a receiver. And maybe someone of the group that they have here, Keon Coleman will turn into that eventually, maybe even sometime this year. Who knows? I think that's asking a lot, probably. Kincaid, Palmer, whomever. Cook is somewhat bankable in that area. He did, I think, demonstrate. I've not gone back and checked this. Watching all the games, I feel like his running away from people was a new part of his game last year. I do not feel like he got the edges effectively prior to last year or was able to create angles in space. I watched a montage of his long runs earlier today, and there's plays where it looks like the guy's got him, but he just makes a little room. There's enough room between the defender angling in and the sideline, and he just buys a little room and still outraces him. And the first 2 years of his career, I did not think he was someone. I didn't see him do that often enough for me to believe that he was capable of it. It could just be circumstantial. Maybe that was always there, and it's just the exact situations didn't arise. I don't know, but it looked like he found an extra gear last year. And this is a team that does not have a lot of extra gear, skill-wise. They just don't. They've got a lot of guys that are guys. And Cook is the most explosive skill player they have on the team outside of their quarterback.
The Bills had 16 touchdowns last year of more than 20 yards. Cook had 4 of those 16.
Okay.
Know any other names who might have had touchdowns of more than 20 yards in length last year?
Are we including playoff games? Matt Collins would have had, and certainly in the playoffs, he caught a 20-ish yard touchdown pass, I'm pretty sure.
We're not. But he did have a 21-yard touchdown catch against the Rams.
All right. Coleman had a long play catch and run against Houston.
And another of 24 against Jacksonville.
Okay.
2 for Coleman. 4 for Cook. 2 for Coleman. 1 for Mack. 9 more.
Ty Johnson?
Yes. 41 yards from Allen against the Rams. Why don't I remember that? That's 8. Right? 8.
Okay.
Got 8 more.
It's going to be a minute.
Does it mean anything that Cook had? It's arbitrary, but 4 of 16 Bills touchdowns of more than 20 yards? Should it be like
more
15,
than that?
15 out of 16?
Not every long run resulted in a touchdown.
That's fair.
Still, too. There is that.
He had the second longest offensive touchdown of the year. A 65-yard run in the snow against San Francisco.
Right.
Number 1, Tyrell Shavers.
Right.
Against the Jets. Ray Davis had a 63-yard touchdown reception against Miami. Shakir, you said him? No.
I did not say him yet, no.
51 against the Rams, and then another 27-yarder against Jacksonville. Coleman, you said?
Yeah.
Johnson, you said? Jamarcus Ingram.
What?
31-yard interception return against Miami.
Get out of here.
Amari Cooper.
Okay.
30 yards against the Jets.
That's an actual receiver.
Josh Allen, 26 yards against the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Taron Johnson, 23-yard pick 6 against Indianapolis. Flacco. I don't know. Just,
Yeah.
4 out of 16. Don't need this one. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, no, I want to forget about that one.
Forget about it. Don't forget about the fact, and this is a true fact, that there's going to be a new Air Bud movie next year.
Who needed this exactly?
I don't know. You won't see it?
I definitely will not see it. Unless I am imprisoned and forced.
You're back in that hospital. Hopefully not.
Yeah, no.
You'll have to watch it.
I never saw. I'm familiar with the character, but I never saw the original, the OG Air Bud.
Neither have I. It probably was on
OGAB.
Probably one of the OGABs were on in my house when the kids were little, and I just walked around and ignored it.
Right. Yeah.
Like all those movies.
Like I would do with
the dogs that talk and fly the space shuttle.
Right. Yeah.
Space buddies.
Not really my genre.
But they're looking for the dog. I saw this on Mental Floss yesterday. Air Bud returns 2026. Ain't no rules. They've got a title. They've got a whole. There's a story.
There's a marketing campaign waiting to be launched. They just need the dog.
They need the dog.
Yeah.
There's a kid who goes to like his hometown and finds the VHS of the original Air Bud and plays it, and then some story ensues. But they don't have the dog. So if you go to mentalfloss.com, if you have a golden retriever and you want it to maybe be the next Air Bud, you can go to Mental Floss And there's an article about this, and you can submit a reel of your golden, and maybe he'll be hired to be Air Bud. My dog is a pug.
I feel oppressed.
Air pug.
I feel oppressed for my dog Fred and for Margot, your pug.
Margot would be a brilliant Air Bud.
They're not eligible. I feel like this is doggy discrimination.
But there could be an Air pug, and she does fly. I mean, this dog, pugs you think of as sort of fat and slow. Some people think of pugs that way.
Yeah, I guess.
Not this one.
Yeah.
No, she is a burner. And so there could be an Air pug, but we're not eligible, as you said, for this one, sadly.
I'm not even going to bother showing off my dog Fred's skills. He does have, speaking of flying, at the where the fence in our yard meets the sidewalk is like, it's, I don't know how much lower. There's 3 steps down to the sidewalk from our yard. Just the way the plot of land the house is on is just higher than the sidewalk and the street that it's on. So, there's this row of trees in our backyard between the fence and the rest of the yard. So there's like a little 1 foot wide, 2 foot wide gap. And Fred, that's his runway. Like, he's just there. You're coming by with your dog. Fred is going to say hi with a lot of barking and some jumping. At the corners of the fence, he will jump, and he can't propel himself to get over the fence. But when he jumps just right, it's like all but like the littlest bit of all 4 legs is above the level of the fence. Like, he gets enough height to look like he could fly out of there.
What is that?
And it can startle people.
4 feet?
The fence is 6 feet tall
6 feet.
itself. But no, it's not 6 feet tall. What am I saying? No, it's 4 feet tall.
4 feet.
Yeah. So, yeah, he can jump 4 feet straight in the air from a dead stop. He's on all 4 legs. He can spring up. Boy, I hope the people on the Twitch and YouTube are appreciating the demonstration. He can spring up, all 4 legs up, so he looks like he's suspended in air for a moment as he's above the fence line.
I hesitate to go next year because I don't want it to sound like I'm trying to one-up Fred.
Please, go ahead. Fred deserves to be one-upped.
I'm not sure this ends up that way anyway, but I will take my turn. Just last night, Margot, my wife is sort of laying down on the couch, her legs are out, and Margot not from a dead stop, but jumps up over the legs onto the couch. Pretty good. I don't know. It wasn't 4 feet, but, impressive. Yep. But then my wife sort of bent her leg, and Margot was coming back and tried to do it again and sort of bumped into her leg. Like, didn't quite clear the bar on the second attempt. Just like in the Olympics, the first attempt, after that, you raise the bar.
Sure.
And the second attempt, she hit the bar.
That's to be understood. Yep.
So I said to my wife, we've got to teach Margot the Fosbury.
The flop.
The Fosbury flop.
Yep.
So she can get up, which would you like sort of turn sideways, and you get up, you make it.
Yep.
And wouldn't you know, I don't know how she would know that reference, this dog.
Right.
Wouldn't you know, later in the evening, she's got this one new toy, Pop-Tart Schopp. I'll send you a picture. Pop-Tart Schopp. She's got Pop-Tart Schopp, which is almost as big as she is. It's still squeaky and soft. And she couldn't jump up onto the couch I was on with the toy in her mouth because the toy was like hitting the couch, and she would make it, but the toy wouldn't make it. She couldn't jump up with the toy. The toy's too big for her mouth to jump, to complete the jump. So I'm thinking about the Fosbury again. And she actually did it. She figured out to jump sideways. So I wish I had it for you.
And not knock the Pop-Tart out of her mouth.
Right. She sort of put the Pop-Tart Schopp in the air and cleared my legs and made the couch.
You had no trouble one-upping me. My dog, Fred, is so lacking for any sort of intelligence. Like, if we'll bring him on the porch, and there's a little lead there, so he's chained on the porch, and he'll wander around on the porch while we're there, and occasionally get the lead wrapped around the leg of one of the chairs, and it's very apparent what needs to happen. Right? You just need to walk back the way you came and untangle yourself. And I'm telling you,
tough.
If I wouldn't do that for him, he would never figure it out.
Yeah,
ever. Am I judging him harshly?
I don't think so.
I just think, dude, come on.
I don't think you are.
Like, just back up. He's just going to stand there and like tug at it, like dude.
Yeah.
I refuse to help you.
My dog would do well in Olympic events, but she wouldn't know how to untangle from a cord. That'd be tough for her.
Yeah.
Tweeted about movies, speaking of Air Bud earlier, does a movie have to have a great ending to be considered great? You say yes.
I say yes. You were talking about a movie and how often you watch it and how it just keeps getting better every
Tootsie.
time.
Yeah, it does. Wow.
And then I was going to protect you from you chose to say Tootsie.
I tweeted the name.
I didn't want to date the program or really us. Anyway, yeah, you said it gets better every time, and I said that's impossible.
No, you're right. Technically, you're right.
And then a few minutes later, you said how the ending is terrible. And I said, well, how can it get better every time you watch it if you know the ending is terrible and the ending is coming? There's no way that this film can get better every time you watch it if it doesn't have a good ending.
I don't even watch the ending. It's just completely ridiculous.
Well, then
the movie is so good and funny in so many aspects that I find it completely rewatchable. Like, just what do I want there? Consummately, I just love watching this movie as many times as I can. The ending, though, give me a break. The guy dresses up as a woman to star on a soap. 1982. The guy dresses up like a woman to star in a soap opera. Eventually, gives up the act, reveals himself to be a man. He's in love with the star of the soap opera. The next day, he pulls up in a cab to meet her, to see her, and she's into him. No, there's just no way she would be into him after that scam.
Right.
Maybe in time.
But not the next day.
Not the next day. And by the way, she's surrounded by fans. He's made the big reveal on TV. It would have been a huge story in real life. Like, we all would have seen this happen and known about it. The fans don't even recognize him. Like, that's weird. Why wouldn't they even recognize him? Yeah. So they had to figure out a way to close this movie up, and that's how they did it. And it's just impossibly unrealistic. You know, a lot of it might seem unrealistic as well, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, the story kind of works.
Bill Murray's in it.
Bill Murray. Oh, the cast.
I mean, so that
since you brought that up,
that helps. I guess.
Since you brought that up, Dustin Hoffman, Terry Garr, Dabney Coleman. I mean, these people have never been in bad movies. Every movie they've ever been in is good. And now they're together in a movie. It's just undeniable.
That is definitely untrue.
There's a tweet today from Sleeper.
About Tootsie?
No.
Okay. That would
There should be.
Weird.
That's my tweet. My tweet is about Tootsie.
I see.
There's a tweet today from Sleeper. Which one of the remote is in your hands. Which one of these football movies are you putting on?
Oh, Lord. I didn't study this, but I saw the screen.
I have never really seen any of them. I've maybe half watched Rudy.
I watched Rudy. I enjoyed it.
Draft Day.
I'm a sucker for that. I've never seen Draft Day.
Rudy's a big yawn.
I did not see. I liked Rudy. I did not see the new Longest Yard, but I like the Burt Reynolds original version of The Longest Yard.
The Blind Side, no. Remember the
saw it.
Titans, never seen it.
Oh, I like Remember the Titans. I watched that on a plane. That was a very good plane film.
Really?
Yeah.
Friday Night Lights, I think I would like.
I love the movie. I loved the TV show.
That would be my pick.
Riggins.
Draft Day, I love drafts, but come on with that movie. Come on.
Yeah, I'm never going to watch it. I'm not.
There are some of those. There are many of those.
Yeah.
Tootsie is another one for you. You're never going to see it.
Well, I'm never going to see it again.
You've seen it before.
I saw it at a cinema that became a liquor store 30 years ago, probably, or 40 even.
Wow. What a story. Sean McDermott joined us earlier. That conversation next here on WGR.